Hello, good morning or good evening, depending on where you are. Today we are updating my long-term collections journal because it's been a hot minute and he's feeling sorely neglected. It's not really a good way to have a long-term collections journal, so let's do some work. If you're not too sure what a long-term collections journal is and why you may even want/need one, this journal is effectively for any collection that I don't want to have to set up with each new journal setup. So things like swatch pages, because as much as I enjoy setting them up, they are a little bit time costly. But I want that reference for more than just the life of one journal. I want it to be a reference for all of my journals. So rather than setting it up in each of those individual journals, I set it up in here. Same idea with any other kind of collection that is kind of reference material-esque. So stuff like perpetual calendars in terms of things that happen on the same day each year that I might want to remember. Things like birthdays or, I don't know, other celebrations that are on specific days, like grilled cheese day, donut day, all of the good ones. Other reference materials I might put in here are collections of like lists of ideas for things, but we're going to have a flip through as we go through so we can kind of see what you might put in here. But the general purpose for this is I don't want to have to set this stuff up again and again and again, and I want a go-to place to reference it. Because yes, you can put swatch pages in your regular everyday notebook, and that's what I used to do, but then you have to go back and remember which one it is you put it in, and when you've been journaling for a while, it's just easier to have it in one place. Well, an addition that I've got to my notebook, because you guys possibly already know that at the back of this notebook is where I like to put my swatch pages. But one of the biggest issues that I had with this swatch page in general, you may have literally just noticed it, is that typically when I open up the back of my notebook, these two pages, they're not stuck, but they like static electricity themselves together. So I default open to the acrylographs rather than the Tombos, and I use the Tombos a lot more. So what I decided to do was put a Tombow swatch chart up front here as part of a flip out. You can see that it is shiny because I've put book contact paper over it, so it's a little bit more, hardy. It was going to kind of stand up to the elements. Okay, not that there are many elements that my journal has to stand up to, but yes. So I've put this contact paper over it so that it was just a little bit more, durable, I suppose, because it is a larger piece of paper and it is just printer paper, so it was a little bit flimsy, but now it's a little bit more secure, a little more sturdy. And I've just washi taped that into the front cover here, so then I can flip it out as a reference, because what I like to do is use Tombos for both my titles and my borders, so being able to reference okay, well, which Tombos might I actually want to use for this? Kind of helpful. But yes, I'll flip that back. So the poll question for today, you may have seen it if you're here on the live. If you're not on the live and you're on the replay, you can answer us in the comments. But the question is, do you have a long-term collections journal? Obviously, I do. For our poll, the option was yes, no, but I want to start one, and no, but I don't want or need one. But it does look like a good chunk of us do have one, and a good chunk of us might want to start one, which is quite exciting. But yes. So I just read the no elements near the journal, please. And I'm like, yes, we should not take elements near the journal. It's probably for the best. I don't think journals stand up very well to water or fire or, I don't know, air, maybe, dirt. Aw, I'm so glad you're happy to be here. Thank you for being here. I can see you guys all saying that you're very excited for this video and stuff, and I'm just like, that's so good to hear. So on the first page of my long-term collections journal, though, I wanted a space to effectively say, what is this journal actually for? So that then I had some kind of prompts to go back to whenever I want to put something new in here. I found that with previous iterations of my long-term collections journal, I'd put things in here that didn't necessarily warrant being in here. The kind of things that at the time I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to need this for a good long while. And then it was actually something that had a very finite life that really wasn't as long-term as I wanted it to be. So I've got a little kind of list here of things that I can ask myself, stuff like, am I going to use this collection in 6 months' time or longer? Is this reference material? Is this a tracker that we use for over a year? I've actually kind of now decided that one probably, it's hard to say. Like, technically, yes, but then I also have a yearly collections journal now, so anywho. Is it a swatch? 100% swatches go in here, and will I actually keep up with it? Ha ha ha. Never ask yourself that question. It's just demoralizing. So, this is the only journal that I actually use an index in, just because it's not necessarily, whoa. It's not necessarily chronological. Whereas my everyday journal that I use, that one is a lot more chronological because it's month after month after month, and I can kind of usually remember where I put things based on the way I set the page up, aesthetic elements, that kind of stuff. Whereas this one, it's just in order of when I need it or when I want to set it up. So this one I do have an index in, and because I'm using an index, I also have to put page numbers on each of the pages because my notebook doesn't have page numbers. So if you're setting up a long-term collections journal, that might be something to consider. If you want to use an index, you might want to use a journal that has numbers. But most importantly for me, especially because I use this for swatch pages, I wanted this notebook to be the same type of notebook as the other ones that I typically use. So because I typically use Archer and Olive notebooks, I needed this one to be an Archer and Olive notebook, because there's not a lot of point having a whole bunch of swatch pages at the back that show me how these pens work on this paper if this is the only journal that has this paper. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. But at the moment, I don't think I have anything to add into my index. Actually, I totally do. So one of the pages that I've recently set up after my level 10 life page here, which is kind of like my level 10 life categories and then some ranking descriptions for when I eventually get around to making them. I have a master groceries list or a section for it set up. I haven't put it in yet because I need to talk to Vogel about what should actually go on this, but it is in the process of being made. Process? Yes. And then we don't have anything after that. But this is on page 39 and 40. So we can add to my index that on page 39, we have the master grocery list. Master groceries list. Excellent. And I just list the first page number for that. I don't list both of them. So I don't do like 39 and 40 or 39 to 40. It's just like if you turn to page 39, that's where you'll find it. So that's the same for like all of these. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are all individual pages, it seems. Or at least then we get to the apocalypse. It's actually 2. That's why we go then to 7. Yeah. So I'm not listing out every single page number. I'm just listing out the first page of whatever it is that has been set up. So that is all I need to index. I do technically have all of that stuff at the back of my notebook too, but I'm thinking that the way I possibly want to index these ones is by letter rather than by number, because otherwise I have to wait until the entire journal is full before I can actually go and say what page numbers these are on. So I was thinking this could be page A, and then we have B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, which doesn't have one at the moment. It used to. I cut it out because I didn't like it, etc., etc., etc. So I just figured that like if I did it with alphabet letters from the back, then I'd kind of have another system of indexing just those while I'm still filling up the journal, rather than having to wait to fill in the journal and then do it at the end. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, let's see. We have my collection ideas page, which is effectively a place that I just write down anything that I want to set up. This one does need some updating. Do I remember what color pen I used? Ha ha ha, probably not. So let's flip back. It was a Stettler. It's probably, oh dear. I mean, it kind of looks like willow green, and I can see that I obviously used the wrong colored green when I ticked this one off, which is a little bit unfortunate. That's the problem with having supplies, is that if you have too many, you don't know which one you actually used. I feel like that's a very first world problem, but first world problems are still problems. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say maybe it's this one. Possibly. What color are you, my friend? 52. Okay, no, 52 is sap green. That was the one that I thought it was, I think, and it was too dark. I think it's actually kind of going to probably be like willow green or something. I mean, let's put it this way, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but yeah, you remember when I did the wrong color green tick. Ta-na-na-na. Oh, I try not to be too precious with things, but this kind of stuff, like, it does irk me. I'm not gonna lie, it does irk me, but not enough to warrant fixing it. So, in terms of things that I've made, I haven't made New Zealand cities to visit. I haven't made side hustle ideas, and I don't actually know if I'm going to now because I turned my side hustle into my full hustle. Hashtag everyday we are hustling. Taggable accounts, routines, self-care tasks. I don't have that yet, I think. Experiences wish list. Pen swatches by color. We have set up. We're still populating it, but it's set up. And that is why it gets a tick. Same idea with the master grocery list. Like, the page is technically set up. I don't need to set that up as a separate page. It just doesn't have its tasks populated. I think I have picked the right green here, so that's good. Master meals list. I want to set that one up. That one's actually one of the things that I plan on working on in the next 3 months. Healthy foods I don't hate. I will get there eventually, but not yet. We've got in-season produce, KonMari checklist, event ideas list, atomic habits reference, date night ideas, bucket list, get things done workflow, Zentangle ideas. I want to make a list of just stuff that I say, like, repeatedly. At the moment, things that I say a lot would probably be biscuit instead of bitch. I have started saying that as part of my regular lexicon now. Other things that I've said previously have been like, don't worry, it's just my feelings you hurt. I say that a lot to Vogel. But other kind of things, like, you know, when you get into a pattern of saying a certain phrase or whatever, and then people point it out or you actually notice it, I want to have a list of those so I kind of have a record of what I have said repeatedly. Anywho, moving on to our Bujo themes. I think some of these I need to check off, and I might want to add some more. I think that there have certainly been some theme ideas that I've been thinking of recently, but we'll see. In my pens. Need my pens. And I don't remember which color this one was either, so let's just pick one and hope. So, galaxies, forests, donuts. Tick, we've done donuts like we're doing it right now. That is not the right color, yellow. Get out of here. Whoops. At least it's yellow, so I can go over it, and that's not too bad. You see that? That looks more correct. Cross stitch, still want to do that. Yeah, that's a tomorrow me problem. Yeah, exactly. That's a future me problem. That's totally something that I say a lot. Bonsai, I have technically done, but I did it in Vogel, so I'm like, Sunsets we have done, so we can tick that one off. Red pandas, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, lanterns, dragons, dragonflies, stained glass windows, I so want to do. Oh, so good. I use the word marvelous more than is marvelous. I love that. We've got tropical holiday, aliens. We did aliens. That was cute. Tropical holiday picnics. Mushrooms, snails, citrus fruits, berries, feathers, tea party, clouds, paper planes. We kind of did a low-key paper planes theme when we did my male theme, but that was more of a male theme, so we're gonna leave it. Pokemon, like, I've now done it for Vogels, and I don't think I ever want to do it for myself because it just seems like way too much effort. So we're going to tick it off. Constellations, I've done for Rachel's, so I'm going to tick that off too. Cheeky cats, so cute. Cheeky cats theme would be so cute. And I'm not really a cat person, but cheeky cats would be great. Plant mom. I'm such a bad plant mom. Like, I'm more like a plant wicked stepmother than I am a plant mom. Sushi fans, Harley Quinn, Daria would be a great theme. Kinkolee's crime scene, Spider-Man, beaches, water, unicorns, foxes, turtles, abstract trees, jack-o'-lanterns, and crosswords. Okay. Are there any other themes that I would like to do? I feel like I wrote this down somewhere. Probably. Let's go check my old journal. It might not be in there though, because I might not have actually done it. I think a crime scene thing would be very cool though. Hi, Jolene. And hi to everybody else who said hi so far. I apologize that I'm not very good at keeping up with the chat in general. I try, but let's have a flip through. Is there something, I think I might have wrote somewhere that there was a particular theme I wanted to do, but I might have hidden it in a weekly or something like that. It's probably more likely than not. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to find it, but I thought I'd just flip back and see if there was anything in here. If you're wondering, I am just checking my next journal page, but I don't think I have anything in here specifically about it. But I'm glad people are on board with the whole crime scene theme. I think it would be a cool idea. So effectively, I just like to have this space so that anytime I'm coming up with a theme or coming up with a list of theme ideas, because my team members actually vote on my monthly themes, so I have this space to kind of come in and be like, okay, let's pick out 3 that sound interesting, and we'll put it to the team and see what they have to say, like which one they'd actually like to see. But having a go-to list just makes it so much easier. Otherwise, I'll be like, scrolling through Instagram or whatever, or like Pinterest, see something that I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. Like I really want to try recreate that, or have a go at doing that theme for myself, and then I just completely forget about it. I find that my saves on Instagram get a little bit unmanageable because of that. See, what have I saved recently? I know I'm off on a tangent. You don't have to tell me, but YOLO, also swag. Most of what I've been saving recently actually hasn't been journaling content either, which doesn't really help. Okay, just as a side note, have you guys seen Living Letter Plans? Because, oh my gosh, her work is so beautiful. It makes me angry. Like, it's so beautiful. I don't know how to describe that in a theme, though, so I don't think I can write it in my themes list. Also, another one that I've seen recently was, like, I think Yas Art Creative, but look at the rainbow. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And a puzzles theme. Do I have puzzles on here? Because puzzles would be a really cool theme. I'm going to put it down. And if it's their double ups, then it'll be fine. I'm just like looking through my list of saves and stuff. This is Addo pages, but like look at the watercoloring they've done, or like the ink work, and then they've gone over it with a white gel pen. And yes, gel pens are my nemesis, but this looks really cool. Puzzles. And I'm sure it's already on here, but because it feels like that would be one that I would have already written. But oh well. What else do we have on here? Just a lot of excellent inspiration. Like this one here, I guess, is not really my typical aesthetic. Maybe I just like the fact that the page looks really super full, but I'm just like, beautiful. Anywho, a brick theme for June. Yeah, great. Oh no, you have a spider web theme. I haven't done one before, but I put it in my easy theme ideas video because that one would also be kind of cool. We'll do a spiderwebs theme. We'll put that on there too, because spiderwebs actually just like, it's always very impressive. Like, I mean, I'm not really a spider fan, but spiderwebs are very, like, they look very intricate and they're very pretty. Spider webs. There we go. Nice. Alrighty, flipping on over. We have my birthdays list and my holidays list. And the thing with the birthdays list is that, I don't know, I have this possible issue where, I don't know, did anybody else lose audio? I'm not too sure. I hope not. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself, and that would be kind of awkward. I'm sure you guys will tell me if you can't hear me. I hope. Anywho, running my mouth. So, I have this issue with the birthdays list in that you write people down thinking that it's like, what's a way of wording this that doesn't sound rude? Like that you actually care, or that you're going to care for a longer period of time. But there are some birthdays that I've listed on here that I'm just like, oh yeah, I don't really need those on there anymore. Like, they're not people I talk to or people I associate with anymore. So it is a bit of a much of a muchness or whatnot. So I'm going to leave them here. I'm not going to fix them, but it just means I might be a little bit more selective, I suppose, with who I actually write on my list, which it feels harsh to say, but it's also like, this is supposed to be a reference for me. So it's like, if it's a birthday I don't really care about anymore, then why include it? You may also see that I had to stick something over Nick here because I was not paying attention when I did this, and I wrote down, like, 11, me, 21, Dad, 1, Rose, 26, October. And I'm like, yes, it is the 26th of October, but it's Nick's birthday. It's not October's birthday. So not great on that one, but yes. Alrighty, we has a question. Love a question. Would you ever considering doing a watercolor or other paint type in your journal, even if it's on watercolor art specific papers, background, or art pieces, and then paste it in? I wouldn't necessarily be opposed. I just don't I don't have a good stash of watercolor colors, and I'm not very savvy when it comes to being able to actually mix them in ways that look half good. Monica, your birthday is not here because I haven't updated this in a while. It's not because of you, it's because of me. Alrighty, we'll put Monica in because otherwise she'll pack the sads at me. There we go, flip, flip, flip. There we go, Monica's birthday is on the 10th of April. There you go. This is reserved for people who are worthy of putting their name on my list. People I would actually wish a happy birthday to, because I'm not very good at actually wishing people happy birthday in general. Like, I don't think I even wish my brother happy birthday. Like, I'm packing is sad. Like, there we go. So, birthdays list, I don't have anybody else to add at this stage, I think. Maybe there are. We're going to pretend there's not. For holidays, I really want to go through and actually add more holidays that are, like, fun days. Like, I know that, I think it's the 30th of April is Bubble Tea Day. So we can put 30th. Bubble Tea Day. Most of the, if I can spell bubble, I just wrote baby day, but it's fine. Booble. Booble tea. Oh god, I wrote tay. Well, whatever. Yeah, it's one of those things that are like, if I can read it, it doesn't really matter. Like, this entire one, I was obviously too excited about it, forgot how to spell things, so it's fine. So Bubble Tea Day is in there. That's looking good. What other days of... Oh, okay, so 9th of February, Pizza Day. See, the thing is that some days of recognition are national versions and some days of recognition are international versions. And I think I'm probably going to want to make sure for any of them, and not to say that February 9th is not International Pizza Day, but I would like to make sure that they are the international versions of those days. Donut Day, it's best day. I missed it. I felt very sad. What we've got 14th of March is Pie Day. Yep, that's fair. March 14th. Pie Day. So most of the ones that I actually like to celebrate, to be completely honest, are food related. So things like Donut Day, things like Grilled Cheese Day. But I also like the idea of Mean Girls Day. It's just kind of like, on October 3rd, he asked me what date it was. It's October 3rd. So in terms of finding these days, if you're ever wondering, like, okay, how do people know when all of this stuff is? I use nationaltoday.com, I think it is. Yeah, nationaltoday.com. Dang. And I'll see if I can do you a little share so you can see what I see. Legolas, what their Elfi see? They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. So they just have them listed out by month, and you can go through and pick which month you want and stuff like that. So obviously, like April, we have April Fool's Day. Edible Book Day, might not celebrate that one myself. Like, oh, Connor Day. I don't think I know any Connors, but I effectively just scroll through all of these and try and find things that I would actually like to celebrate. Yep, Defeat Diabetes Month. Sounds like a good time. Like Earth Month, Earth Day, all of that kind of thing. Oh, is it alright if you use your tink without taking a drink? Oh gosh, I mean, that seems like sacrilege. I mean, you can use tink if you're not taking a drink. That's totally fine. Having said that, we are 24 minutes in, which means it's probably time to open up my cola, because run in my mouth. Haven't even had a drink today. Tink. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm 100% about the food days, because yeah, you can also do it by like different types of holidays, so like our food and beverage ones, and see which ones are related to those. Like National Gingerbread Day is on the 5th of June, which is like, I'm not opposed to it, but I always associate gingerbread with Christmas, so I'm just like, this seems wrong. Applesauce cake day. But also name your poison day, like, oh, I don't know if you guys can actually see that, it is quite small. National Name Your Poison Day. But you see that one is also in the US, so it's one of those ones that I probably have to go through and like actually have a proper good look at it. Like anything that says national. Let's see, International Falafel Day. I don't really eat falafels, alas. Oh, but there's National Apple Strudel Day. I don't think I even care that that's US only. I would still have it. I love this. Is there a Coke Zero Day? Because I would celebrate Coke Zero Day every day. Do you have Pride Month? I haven't written it down, but that's because I don't necessarily like celebrate it, if that kind of makes sense. Like I recognize it, but I don't do anything for it, if that kind of makes sense. I pressed on something random. So I don't have that one on my list because I kind of want to reserve these ones for things that I would actually like transfer into my into my monthly log, right? So like I would transfer Valentine's, Galentine's, and Waitangi Day into my monthly log, so I would keep those ones on here. I would also transfer Donut Day and Bubble Tea Day and that kind of stuff. I don't actually think I have any like months of recognition on here. I kind of keep it to days as well. Let's see. I was like, oh, my mom's birthday. I'm like, no, we've got that on the birthdays list. I need to keep remembering that. Yeah, Pride Month is every month. I like that sentiment. Yay! So, ooh, peanut butter cookie day. I would like to try and make peanut butter cookies. But this one in particular, I know that I need to have like a bit more of a thorough look through and pick out the days of recognition that are actually like relevant to me. We're going to keep this one for a second. This is my apocalypse, and my apocalypse is probably one of the most neglected lists that I have, which makes me very sad because a lot of the time now, rather than writing things in my apocalypse, I write them in my 101 things list. So I think what I probably want to do is actually start like transferring 101 things that don't get done or ones that are of particular significance into this list, so that then I kind of have it as like kind of like a record of achievement. This is my record of achievement. But let's see. So did we have another question? Oh, yep. So do you have a diary, a journal book where you write about your day or your memories, or do you just have your bujo? I don't have a diary per se. I do have a self-care journal, I suppose, but it's not one that gets used regularly, and it's not specifically for like reflecting or recording daily events. I have a 5-year journal though, which is, I get to go grab that one. Scroll on over. Excuse me. So I have a 5-year journal that I just put like a couple of dot points from the day and say things. No, don't worry. I missed your question. It's totally fine. So I put like a couple of dot points about like what was going on for the day, but that's pretty much the extent of it. I don't actually like do full journal entries, if that makes sense. Alrighty. Let's see. So in terms of the stuff that's on here, I don't have any that are actually ready to check off. So I also don't have any to add just yet, so we can move on. But monthly layouts is not one that I kind of update. This is just one that is like a make once and kind of stick in here as a reference type page. So it's just a list of things that you could include if you were setting up a monthly layout. I can kind of come back to this list anytime I'm like, oh, I want to do something new, but I'm not too sure what I want to do. So like, you know, chuck this one in here, then I can actually come back and say like, okay, well, what could I put in? Like it probably would have been a good idea to leave this as a double page spread. But I don't necessarily think I would have needed like all of that space. I don't think I need to write out like 100 different things that you could put in a monthly setup, but having it here also next to the weekly setup or weekly layout ideas is not a bad thing either. So this one, obviously I do have a little bit of space to include some more stuff. So this one is all about stuff that you could include on a weekly setup. So like, tasks and notes type things, trackers and logs type things, any kind of space fillers, and then this would be for like other stuff that I think about. So it's like if I'm setting up a weekly layout and I have a little bit of extra space, I can be like, oh, what can I use this for? I can come back and just have a flip through this and be like, okay, is there anything on here that stands out as something that I could actually include? So that's all good. Now we're into the part which actually really needs some attention. So this, okay, I'm not gonna lie, this section of my long-term collections journal is probably my least favorite section, and that's because every other page you can see has a very set kind of aesthetic. Like maybe this one's a little different, but all of them have the header and the border, and they're all just like the same. And then we get to these ones, and I tried to keep the same lettering style, but the actual page layout is completely different, and it irks me. But there's so much space that I'm going to be using it for a while. So, there are some things to be said about not locking yourself into a very specific style of layout. But this is what I've done to myself. So this is what I have to live with. So Once Upon a Time, I have not watched any more of. It's also one of these things that I'm like, I've gotten to the point with television shows that I'm like, do I even care anymore? It's just, it takes a long time, and I just don't know if I can be bothered. I also don't know how much of Modern Family I got through, because I don't keep very good track of these things. Also, does Modern Family just have this many seasons, or does it have more? I don't know. What's the worst about this is when they say that, like, oh, yep, my show is, like, my show. They say, the show is finished, it has this many seasons, we're done. And you're like, excellent, I can fill in the little black bars to say that these seasons don't exist. And then they bring out another season. And I'm just like, rude. What do I do now? Like, I've already blacked it out. But that doesn't happen too terribly much, so it should be okay. Now, Never Have I Ever only has 4 seasons, right? And we've just released... I did not do this. They have just released the 4th season. And I'm currently watching the 4th season. So... If you couldn't tell, each of these little boxes represents a season of a show. So once I've completely watched it, I color it in full, and if I'm partway through watching it, then I half color it in. So Never Have I Ever, I have watched the first 3 seasons in full, so I can color those boxes in full, and then I can half color in this box for number 4, because that's how much of it I have watched. Now we need to color in the rest of those boxes in black, so that then I can, my beautiful black pen. So then I know that I don't have more seasons of that to watch. So. Should I have chosen a pen that's quite as inky as this? Probably not, because now I'm thinking like, oh god, what if I bleed through? What if I bleed through? No, it seems to be okay. Well, alright. I'm going to turn this though, because I think it'll be a little bit easier to do it this way. It's like when you start coloring in the black and you're like, oh wait, this is the wrong TV show that I've started coloring in. That would have been bad. It's not what has happened here, but that would be bad. And there we go. So I can color that one in to say that those seasons don't actually exist. Have I seen Queen Charlotte version of Bridgerton? Yes, I have. Like, technically, we can write that on the list too, because this is the thing. I don't keep this list updated, but I would like it to be as updated as possible. Are they going to make a 2nd season of Queen Charlotte? I assume not. Because that story feels very tied up in a neat little bow. But we can write Queen Charlotte on here. Charlotte. And they have finished the 1 season that they have out that they are probably not going to put out again. Ooh, good question. Do you track rewatches? No. Mainly because if I'm rewatching something, it's usually just as a time filler or like, a background noise type thing, rather than an actively kind of trying to involve myself in the story. I am looking at you, Gossip Girl. Just because it's like apologies. I'm trying to use my words and failing. I'm trying to use this tracker mainly for a kind of like record of having ever watched the thing, rather than rewatching the thing. I think that if I was going to do rewatching, I would probably just get maybe a darker color or a darker version of this teal pen and just go over it again if I wanted to. You can see also, like, with my tracking, I'm not very particular about, oh, you know, I've watched the first 5 episodes of season 6 and I'm going to color in like 5/12ths of the box or anything like that. It's just very much a like half coloring in means it's started, full coloring in means it's done. So I could not tell you how far through Buffy season 4 I've actually gotten. I also have the issue with like some of these shows that I've watched. I don't know if they're going to have more seasons, so I don't know if I'm actually finished or if there's more to come. Let's see, Ruby has 9 now, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I have watched the 9th season, so we can color that one in. That looks good. And then I was also wondering about the ones that I've just decided to abandon, the ones that I'm like, yeah, I don't actually care to watch the rest of those. I was wondering, like, do I color in the rest of the track in gray? Like, would that be something that I do? Like, if I decide, for instance, that I'm not going to finish Snowpiercer, I could just color in the rest of the boxes for that season, or series rather, in gray to say, like, yeah, I'm not going to watch that. Good question. Have you watched Friends? I have started watching Friends, but I didn't get very far through, and then I stopped. Because there are a lot of episodes per season, and I know that that's very much like an old school TV thing, whereas nowadays we usually get like 10 episodes per season. It's probably because people's attention span is short. Hashtag me. But I don't know if I'll necessarily go back to Friends, though, because it's one of those things that, like, I feel like I kind of missed the hype train, I guess. I don't necessarily fully believe that. Like, I feel like I could watch it and get enjoyment out of it and then, you know, understand more of the references, I guess, that people have for it. But I don't really... It's again one of those things. TV shows take up so much time. Like, I used to be very much into TV shows more because it was like, oh yeah, you really get to kind of immerse yourself in a story and get like really involved in this kind of narrative that they've got and whatever. And that was really what spoke to me about television shows. But nowadays I'm just like, I don't have the time to commit that many hours to a story. So I'd kind of rather just watch a movie. I don't know. Like, and we've also cancelled both Netflix and Disney Plus. Like, we've decided that we're done with both of those. So, and I'm like, how much TV show watching am I actually going to do? Same idea with RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, I really loved RuPaul's Drag Race. They took it off Netflix and they're doing it through their own streaming now. So now I just like don't care. I feel like I'm done with watching it. Okay, that's one that I can probably commit to saying that I'm finished with. What season of RuPaul's Drag Race did I actually get up to? This is kind of upsetting, as like I've done 2 full rows of this. So maybe I could just rule it off and put something else underneath it. Solutions. I need a pen. Where is my 05? I think that I was using 05 for this. This is also one of the issues. It's like I don't remember what pens I was actually using to do these. So it's probably going to be a different line weight when I actually do put it in. But it's fine. And of course my 05 is smack bang on the bottom. Though I feel like that might be a new 05. Do I have an old 05? Yes. Okay. So... yeah, I can understand the idea of like switching. Totally makes sense. So you kind of like get to go through and cherry pick the ones that you actually want to watch. I have yeah, we've just taken the stance of we're not gonna bother having them. And then if something that we're really super sold on the idea of watching comes out, then we'll just like resubscribe for that month kind of a thing. So like when the next season of Stranger Things comes out, because that's a story that we're actually kind of invested in, like that's one that I could get rid of. I do like the idea of, because I know that the question came up before, like, what if I color it in and then I don't want to, I decide against it. I do like Carolyn's idea of, hey, maybe we could just use a skinny washing for a DNF and then pull it up if I want to. Could do. Like, that makes a lot of sense. Or what I would probably be more inclined to do would be get a light gray washi tape and just tape over it and cut to the boxes. So, for instance, we've got Hawkeye here. And even if Hawkeye comes out with a new season, I don't think I'm going to watch it because I am so sick of Marvel. It's one of those things that once we got to Avengers Endgame and we actually kind of finished off that whole arc, I just stopped kind of caring. It also didn't help that the one that I was probably the most excited about from the last season, what are they called? They're not seasons. Arcs? Phase. That's the word. The last phase that they had, that phase 4 or whatever, the one that I was probably the most excited about was Doctor Strange, because I'm like, I like Doctor Strange and Wanda's going to be in it and I like Wanda and rah. And then that movie just like totally killed my buzz. Is Vogel going to keep watching? I think that I've gotten to the point where I've convinced Vogel that we just don't see them at the cinema anymore, at least. But I think that he'll probably still watch the movies. I said that I don't mind watching the movies with him, but I'm not about the TV shows. I started watching what was it, the Winter Soldier one? Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah. I got halfway through the first episode. I'm like, I can't. Like, this is so boring. And it sucks because I know that that's the one that he really liked. He was like, no, this one was really worthwhile watching. And it was, you just need to get past that first blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, if anybody ever says that you need to just get first something, like, I usually can understand why they say that, because oftentimes a pilot isn't necessarily as good as the rest of the series. But I was like, nah, come on, Marvel, do better. Capture my attention. It's all good. So we have a TV show up here that has one season that I've watched, in theory, because we've decided that RuPaul's Drag Race, I was just going to leave it as a full bar and say, like, that's it, done. And we're going to color in the rest of RuPaul's Drag Race with gray to say that, like, I watched what I wanted to, but I made the commitment to say I'm done. Life's too short. Loki was good. Like, I enjoyed Loki, and I enjoyed WandaVision. And that's why I was like, okay, cool, I'll go and try out Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I was just like, no, I can't. Apologies to anybody watching who's like, Winter Soldier and Falcon are like my favorite. How dare you? I mean, no shade. I need a TV show that has at least one season that I've watched, which means we're gonna need to go back to the island. And by that I mean we're gonna jump into my yearly collections journal, which is, funnily enough, for yearly collections. This is for tracking things on a yearly basis rather than a kind of long-term or monthly basis. So we can see that I watched The Last of Us for one season. We can put that in. Is it called, it's just Last of Us, right? It's not The Last of Us. I don't know, I'm writing Last of Us. Last of Us. Excellent. Cool. I also started watching Easy Bake Battle, but I also don't think I need to write this down. Do we have... I was going to say Snowpiercer, that's not what I meant. Do we have Shadow and Bone on here? I don't think so, so we can write Shadow and Bone. See, this is the thing about me, like, not keeping up with this. Like, I watched Shadow and Bone Season 2 this year. Like, I've already watched Season 1. Haven't written it in here. Shadow and Bone. There we go. Oh well. Whoops. Peaky Blinders I've seen a lot of ads for, and I would like to watch it, but it's also one of those, like, trying to use my free time. Okay. Is this a toxic trait? Yes, but anywho, I always find with my free time, I want to use my free time as like almost productively as possible. Like, So I'm like, okay, excellent. We're gonna like use our free time to listen to a podcast about something related to social media content, or we're going to use it to get the book club book read, or we're going to use it to ABCDE kind of a thing. So then when it comes to TV shows, I'm just like, TV shows is a lot of sitting there, not necessarily doing something. And I know I shouldn't feel guilty about it because, rest time is important and taking time for ourselves is important. But I'm just like, but I could be spending this time, getting ahead on my caption writing for the year of planning challenge, or I could be using this time to go and sort out my digital files. And it's one of those things that kind of stuff brings me great satisfaction, which is why I default to doing those kind of things in my free time. But I don't know, it's probably not necessarily the best course of action for me. Another one that we can totally color in gray is Suits, because my train on that just burnt out and I'm not going to go back to it. That's also another issue I have, is that if I leave a TV show for too long and I don't get back to it, I oftentimes feel like I need to rewatch the whole thing. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm sorry. Like, rest is productive too. This is my personal toxic trait. But maybe some of you guys can relate. It's just finding what's the most efficient way that I can use my free time so that I can feel as rested as possible. So I'm like, oh yeah, we're not just going to sit here and do this one thing. We're going to, put on a TV show, but then also scroll through YouTube to find content we might want to watch for later. And then we're also going to catch up on reading an XYZ or whatever. And I'm like, dude, monotasking is okay. Like, calm yourself. Like, no, I will never be calm. But yes, Suits is certainly one that I will not be going back to, because I just got to the point where I didn't really care anymore. Like, yeah, come just as with no rest productiveness. Exactly. You'll sleep when you're gone, kind of thing. Also, tink. I don't know. We can be a unit. It's totally fine. All right. So, get organized by the home edit. The Umbrella Academy, that is coming back, right? How many seasons of Umbrella Academy are there? There are only 3, right? I have no idea. Stranger Things, we're going to at least get a season 5. Have we already got a season 5? I genuinely don't know. This is also the issue, is that with the ones that I've blacked out because they're already completely finished, that one I can kind of see where the end is, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can make my time for another 2 seasons of insert show here. But the ones that aren't done, I'm just like, this could just go on forever. I think Riverdale is one that I've given up on. Is Riverdale finished yet? Is it done? Or are they still going? Because I really need to stop, because it's awful. It was really good, but now it is not good. It has at least 7 seasons. And I got up to season 5, I think. I don't know. I don't think I even remember where I got up to with that, because it was just it got so weird, which was so sad, because it was really good to start with. I liked the whole, murder mystery, whodunit kind of aspect of things. I also feel like I've given up on Snowpiercer. I really want to go back and actually start rewatching The Walking Dead, because that was one that I really did enjoy. I don't know if you guys have this, because streaming has kind of changed the way we watch things. But the kind of you'd wait each week and you'd have your set time of like, okay, this is when the show comes out. Like, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to do my episodic watching of each episode throughout each week and whatever else. And nowadays it's just like I will binge until I get sick of it, and then I will stop. Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Okay, Umbrella is good. It's only at 3. That's nice. So I've at least updated that one. And I have watched some of Supernatural. I think I got up to season 8, but I'm not too sure. But that would be very much one of those shows where I would be like, oh, I really want to rewatch the whole thing if I'm going to get into it. I'm like, that's just not the most healthy way to do things. I think I just need to make a genuine commitment of like, are we actually going to bother with a lot of these, or are we going to just stop? But we will at least go and add in the ones that I have been watching, so we can add them off this list. For instance, Firefly. I love Firefly. I'm bummed that it only got one season, but at least because it only got one season, I can color it in as completed. There we go. I think the thing that kind of bums me out the most about Firefly is that there were certain plot points in that series that you could see were going to get picked up on in later series, or later seasons of the series, rather. Like, you know, a certain enemy that, you know, got away, and you could see that they were going to get picked up as, like, the big bad in a later season and that kind of stuff, or those little bits and pieces that kind of get left unresolved because it's like, oh yeah, we'll come back to those, but obviously not so much, which is a bit sad because yeah, it only got one season. But it does make for a satisfying full box of color to say, yes, we finished the thing. Maybe I'm just picking the wrong TV shows. Maybe I just need to pick the TV shows that are already done, only have like two seasons or whatever, and then call it a day. Or like Never Have I Ever, where it has 4 seasons, and we're on the last one, we're going to watch it, and then that'll be finished. That's kind of nice. Let's see. I'm guessing you're not a fan of The Crown. I haven't watched it, but it's also it's supposed to be. Is that one supposed to be like a kind of historical retelling of the British royal family? I don't. Like, that's my understanding of it. I don't know if that's actually the case, but let's see. Severance was good. I liked Severance. I also liked You. Where's You? Did I put that on here? No. So we'll put You on here. I really feel like You could have just finished at season 4 though. It felt like it was going to be a good place to just kind of tie everything off in a neat little bow, and then they didn't. So I'm like, okay, we'll see where this goes. Severance was good too though. I enjoyed Severance. But that one's on Apple TV, and we literally got a free trial of Apple TV. I think it was like a year. They give you a year-long free trial when you buy a new product or something. So we watched that in the last like week and a half of having Apple TV, and now I'm like, great, now I want to see this show, and I don't actually have Apple TV, so I've got to keep an ear out to see when it comes back, and then just sign up for another month kind of a thing. That type deal. Let's see. So we watched up to You season 4. I really should have picked a better pen to do this coloring in. Maybe one that isn't a, fine tip pen or a fine liner. I probably should have picked one that's a marker, but I did not. And now I've locked myself into this. So, You had 4 seasons, or has so far had 4 seasons, so we can only half cross it off because it is not actually finished. There we go. Alrighty. Lucifer was great, and I don't know if I'll get back to Lucifer, but we can write it down, because how many seasons of Lucifer has there been? This is washi tape. This is like a watercolor washi tape kind of thing. Lucifer had 5 seasons, but it did finish, right? Oh, wait. No, it didn't? Oh, no. We'll write Lucifer down, though, because I do actually have that as one that I have been watching. Alrighty. How many seasons of Lucifer has Jess watched so far? I don't really remember. I don't really know. So we're gonna have to look it up. Lucifer. Why did they cancel Lucifer? Will there be a 7th season of Lucifer? The show has not been renewed for a season 7, making season 6 the series finale for now. See, that's the thing that gets me. It's like, it says, like, they have have not been renewed, but then like, what if it gets picked up again? I don't think it'll get picked up again, right? I don't know. Which season was it that the person died? Also, we're not going to do any spoilers, but there was a person and they died. Like, I think I've watched at least 4 seasons of it though, so we can color in 4. Oh yeah, Firefly Lane has 2 seasons. I don't know what Firefly Lane is. I don't think I've heard of that one. There you go. Because I know that like one that was getting talked about for a while, maybe not so much anymore, was Euphoria. I have no idea what that is, but I would be curious to find out about it. Okay, we started on season 5, I'm pretty sure, so we can color this in. And that's one of those things that I'm like, if there's only 6 seasons, I'm actually like in a good position to just wrap it up and finish it off. But then also I know with the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, they made season 4 and then they but they didn't necessarily tie the season off very well because they thought they were going to get another one or something and then they didn't. So I gave up on it. So we can get rid of you. Goodbye. Done. So even though it's not like, you know, you got so close to the end and you didn't finish it, like, it still feels satisfying to have made that commitment to say, I am not going to watch that. Like, my time is better spent not doing that. So even though this isn't a full box of green to say like, hey, you finished the whole thing, it's still satisfying to me to say like, you made the active choice to not pursue that. Like, that's it. I feel good about that, at least. So like, tiny claps for Jess. Tiny claps. Good job. You reclaimed your time. You said you were just not going to bother. All right, what else do we have? So we've done Ruby, we've done Brianna. We're not going to put Easy Bake Battle because that's just for the lols. The Queen's Gambit we did, and it was only 1 season, and I think that's where they were going to leave it. So we can write that in. And yes, I know that like this is supposed to be a place to like track my books and whatever. Books, I'm sorry, I read DNF. Like, this is supposed to be a space to track my TV shows, but I'm totally fine with writing something in here that I've already done because it's effectively like a record of achievement. The Queen's Gambit. It's also one of those things that the sooner I fill up this layout, the sooner I can either make another one or move on, kind of a thing. Because as I said when we kind of started looking at this one, this style for these pages is my least favorite. So I'm not opposed to getting through it quicker so that I can set something up that's a little bit more in the style of the notebook as a whole. Because if I was going to set this one up again, I probably wouldn't do it as a Dutch door because I like the fact that all of my other pages in this notebook actually match in terms of style. That's kind of what I wanted to do when I was moving into this new long-term collections journal, because one of the things that bothered me about my previous ones is that nothing seemed cohesive, and cohesiveness, it just makes me more inclined to actually use something, which, considering how much I use this, you can imagine how much I used my other long-term collections journals. Wah, wah. And, you know, I say that, and it sounds like, oh, well, Jess, if you're not using it, what the heck is the point of even having it? There is still value in this. Like, I still get value from having this as a space to put these things, and I use it very much for my reference materials in particular, like my, you know, swatch pages and my other referencey bits that we've set up at the start. Those things I do get a lot of use out of. It's just the actual tracker parts like this I'm not super good at actually getting into and doing stuff with. Riverdale, I have made the active choice to say, nope, I'm done. I don't care for it. But I also don't know how many seasons it has, so we're just going to color in some in grey. I mean, it doesn't really matter. No, not so much. You know, I could just fill them all in black and be like, hey, you got to the end of the part that you actually cared about. Because, I mean, like, for the RuPaul's Drag Race one, for instance, like, I filled up to the end of this bar, but there were more seasons after that I haven't got on the tracker. So, does it need to be this, what's the word? Accurate? Probably not. But it's all good. See, full bar of color, full block, reclaiming my time. Excellent job. If you ever make custom mujos, oh dear, like in terms of drawn custom bullet journals, I would absolutely not be able to do it because my journaling style, like the way that I like to do things, is very time intensive. And so if we're actually thinking about, you know, charging people a fee for a journal, you know, as is common in the trade of goods and services, I wouldn't feel great about how much I would have to charge given the amount of time it would take me to make stuff. But if we're thinking like a pre-printed journal, like one that I have designed and gotten printed, that's a different story. But then it takes away some of the customizability. So it's this hard place of like, yes, I would love to do pre-printed journals that I could, you know, sell and have pre-set up styles and stuff for people. One of the things that I really appreciate about bullet journaling is the fact that it is designed by the user. So it is what the user needs it to be, which you kind of lose a little bit if you're getting into a pre-printed kind of scenario, if that makes sense. Rock, hard place. Hopefully you guys get what I mean. I'm running my mouth here. But also, it's the 1 hour mark, which means tink. Yeah, cooking shows on in the background are excellent. I totally agree with that. So that's like what Easy Bake Battle has been for me. It's just something kind of casual to put on in the background so that I don't have to focus on anything in particular, which is nice. I'm feeling very good about this reclaimed time. But like, for instance, Gilmore Girls, I'm so close to the end of Gilmore Girls, like just freaking finish it. Like, just get it done. Oh, Murphy, I think you had a question just missed. Alrighty, let's go see. We're on a hunt. Murphy, where is your question? Scrolling. If it was the question about the inks, I did answer that one. This is washi tape. But if there was another question, you repost it, you let me know. If anybody has a question, and if I miss it, just post it again. Obviously, like, don't be spammy. Like, if you've just posted and I haven't seen it, then like, yeah, but but in general, if you post a question and it's been like 3 minutes and I haven't seen it or said anything about it, just post it again. It's all good. Let's see. Is there anything else we can add? So this was for this year and what I've watched this year. We can also flip back. I've got a little band on here to keep it closed so that I can find my new year stuff easily, because before this is my 2022 stuff. But documentaries, that's different. TV shows. Okay, so I started watching Desperate Housewives and then I decided it wasn't for me. We have The Sandman that we can put in. We're getting to the bottom here, so we're pushing you up here. World's Worst Roommates. I think I only watched like... Actually, no, I must have watched the entire series of that because I think I watched it with my mum. Did I ever hear about 100? Yes, I have heard about the 100. Vogel watched, I think, at least 2 seasons, maybe if there were 3, I'm not too sure. And he said that it started really good, but then it got a little weird. And he was like, not so much. So I took it off my to-watch list. Oh yeah, Rick and Morty. I've totally been watching that. Is that on my list? Okay, we'll put Rick and Morty down. Rick and Morty. And we watched World's Worst Roommates. Which I think I might have spelt wrong, but that's okay. And there doesn't seem to be anything else on here that I haven't already added. That's all good. So I was watching Rick and Morty season 6, so I've at least watched 6 seasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many seasons of Rick and Morty are there? Je ne sais pas. Something for just to look up in a second. And then World's Worst Roommates was only the 1 season because it was kind of like the docu-series type thing, which I just consider to be a TV show. It's nice and easy. Yeah. Let's see. Never think of some of the things you do. I'm fine with the bare bones spreads. I just love some of your spreads and want some of your exact ones. Oh, like, it's one of those things like, hey, I very much appreciate that. But if I was trying to make a layout, like if I was going to make a setup for somebody, again, it would take so long because I am very particular. Like, and it becomes even more of an issue when you're trying to make something for someone else. Does anybody else have this? Is like when you're doing something for yourself, you get a little bit more blasé about it, but if you're doing the exact same thing for somebody else, you get really kind of anal about it because I am that way inclined. I think that was kind of one of the issues that I had with making journals for Rachel and Bogle, is that I would just get very hung up on making it as perfect as possible. Whereas if I was making it for myself and I spelt something wrong or like whatever, it wouldn't really bother me so much. Yeah, a pre-printed long-term journal would be kind of fun. It's again that idea of like being what you need it to be and whatever. Because if you're not really into TV shows, then having a TV show tracker in there wouldn't work so much. But if this had been this part in particular, like if I had a layout that was already done like this, it would make my life so much easier because actually having to draw out the whole grid, ugh. You can see like I got to this page and I'm just like, oh, I'll do it later. I'm sick of it. I'll just do it later. But I was also leaving that page open just in case there were any TV shows that I was watching that had more seasons than the number of spaces I had. I think I've got 3, 6, 9, 12 across. And I was like, well, if you have any TV shows that are longer than 12 seasons long, then you're going to have to go over 2 lines. But if you've separated each of these boxes into 2 separate things, then that's going to bother you. And that's why the RuPaul's Drag Race one at the start was left as 2, because I'm like, hey, then I have enough space for 24 seasons. But I've now decided that like 12 was enough. Well, technically I watched 13, but that's enough. Let's see. So we have, what else do we have? Gilmore Girls is done. Stranger Things, I feel like we've just, we've got enough seasons of that. I don't think there's any. Oh, well, we actually need to half color in Rick and Morty and full color in World's Worst Roommates. The issue with the using this as my reference is that it's not necessarily complete because I only record the first 22 instances of having done anything in here. So it's like, once I got up to the Joker that I watched, any movie after that is not captured in this layout. I don't think I have that captured anywhere else in here either. So I would have to go back to my old journals and actually go through those lists and be like, okay, well, what else did I watch? But that's looking pretty good so far. I've just put that away, but the next one is movies. Okay, do you guys have movie recommendations? I would love to hear your movie recommendations because now as I've decided that I'm more into movies than I am into TV shows, this is looking woefully not filled in. I did watch To All the Boys, P.S. I Still Love You the other day though, so I can color that in. But this is another one that you can see that like this box is a lot bigger because the title of the movie went across 2 lines, which is why I haven't drawn in all of the little separating lines over here. There we go. I also watched the third one, whatever the third one's called. I would just write To All the Boys 3. It's just easier. We'll put that here. To All the Boys 3. Done. Makes it so much simpler. There we go. Teen Wolf the new TV show. There's a new TV show called Teen Wolf. I know there was an older one that came out. I say older, it came out like in the 2010s or whatever, or maybe the 2009 kind of time. Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was good. I enjoyed that movie. We watched that. I think I'm gonna say the start of last year, but I'm not too sure if it was the start of last year or the start of this year. We watched it a little while ago though. That was a good film. Let's see. To All the Boys 3. Because it's Always and Forever, right? Because this one's P.S. I Still Love You, and that's Always and Forever. Let's see. Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Nice. I See You. Ooh. About Fate. Howl's Moving Castle. Yeah, we want to do a Studio... Is it Ghibli or Ghibli? We want to do a Studio G marathon at some point, because I haven't seen any of them. I haven't seen Howl's Moving Castle, or Totoro, or Spirited Away, or I don't know what any of the other ones are, but, you know, any of those, I haven't seen any of them. Nice. Okay, we're going to need to write some ideas down. It's one of those things that, like, one of the things that I enjoy the most about going to the cinema is seeing the previews. Like, to an extent. I also sometimes think that the art of making good trailers has kind of declined. So a lot of the time trailers nowadays are actually just giant spoilers, which is a bit of a bummer. But it was always nice to go to the cinema and be able to kind of like go and jot down like, oh, I want to see this, I want to see this, I want to see this as you watch the trailers, because typically the trailers that you're seeing for any movie are going to be the ones that are, you know, they're for the same target audience of the film you're already seeing. So if you've already kind of committed to seeing the film that you're about to see, which is probably something you wanted to see, then it's like, you know, tailored to that kind of idea. What kind of genres do you like? Great question. No idea. If it gives you any kind of insight to what I typically like, Vogel and I just finished rewatching the 5 Twilight movies, and I know that some of you are instantly like, oh my god, I must turn this stream off. How dare she? That's disgusting. But also, it's like junk food movies. It was just like a good time, and through the entire thing, we're just like, oh my god, Bella, stop. Oh my god, Edward, no. Oh my god, Charlie, why? Like, but it was a good time. Like, I was totally fine with that. It filled a need in my soul. I'm like very tempted just to write them all down right now. I'm gonna do it because, again, this is a record of achievement. Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse. Didn't write that right, I don't think, but that's fine. I don't like it when they make a part 1 and part 2 for the last book of anything. I'm just like, just put it in one movie. Just do better. Part 1, part 2. Nice. Yeah. That's right. It's my record of achievement. This is, you know, something to be proud of. My watching of Breaking Dawn part 1 and 2. Which, again, like, I am all about people enjoying what they want to enjoy, and I enjoyed this. There we go. Then we roll the lines in so we can make them straight. Harry Potter? Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while. We wanted to do a rewatch. We're very big on the idea of marathons right now. Like, I want to do a marathon of Howl's Moving Castle. No, the other one. How to Train Your Dragon. That's the one. I want to do How to Train Your Dragon. And there's 3 movies of that, I think. I want to do all of those at once. That'll be good. And I can't remember what the other marathon we did a marathon of Scream. So I can totally write down all the Scream movies, because that was a good time. Hello, Sydney. And I want to do a Saw marathon. I think Rachel said she wanted to do that too. So we're going to do a Saw marathon. That'll be a good time. And I They're like the Halloween movies or whatever. I haven't seen any of them. I don't know how many of them there are, but I was tempted to possibly think about doing some kind of a marathon of those at some stage. Jurassic Park. I really liked the first Jurassic Park. I know that I'm pretty sure that's Vogel's favorite too. We're gonna like do Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. I liked like the first of both of those individual trilogies. I enjoyed. The other ones felt very forgettable to me, but I liked the first of each of those. Yeah, I've decided that all of these are going to be individual ones, and we're just going to write a list. Yeah. Because it's Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, and then Scream just again, but it's like the fifth one. Like, Scream, 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 Scream. My mate Scotty and his partner, they are big into like Disney, but also into horror movies. So they do like a lot of horror movie watching. It's always kind of fun seeing them check in on Facebook and be like, "Oh, yep, there you go, watching another horror movie," or like doing the Evil Dead series or whatever, so that they could go see the new movie. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's 2020 or whatever it was, 2022, 2021. I'm just gonna write 2021. I can't remember which one it actually was. And then it was IV. Because naming conventions are dumb and let's just do whatever we want. Die Hard and the Jason Bourne movies, nice. I've seen Die Hard. I think I've seen Die Hard too. There's somebody knocking on my door. I need to go tell Vogel there's somebody knocking on my door. I know he's at work, but I'm at work too. And you guys are more important. Let's see. So, yeah. I've seen Die Hard 1. I might have seen Die Hard 2. I'm not too sure. But I don't think I've seen the rest of them. What was the other ones that came out kind of the same time? But they were like similar but different. There's a lot of chatter going on in my house because obviously there was the person who was knocking on the door, and then there's also Vogel who's left his work computer running with his colleagues just talking in the background, and I'm like, that is so distracting. Can't hold my train of thought with this commotion. Look at all this progress that I made. And yes, we are just writing down movies I've already seen, but it's fine. It's fine. We went from Twilight to Saw real fast. I'm pretty sure that those are in the same genre, aren't they? like, I think that they've got the same target audience, I'm pretty sure. Ooh, Shrek. Shrek is such a good movie. I would love to do a Shrek marathon. We will write those down too. Okay. How many Saws are there? Saw. So we're really on an S kick here. Scream, Saw, Shrek. Saw. Because I did a purge. It wasn't really, I think it wasn't really like a marathon per se, but it was a series of them all at the same time. Saw movies. Okay, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my gosh. There's like heaps. Because, okay, it goes Saw 2, Saw 3, and we're like, yeah, naming conventions. Saw 4, Saw 5. I did just realize that that's 5, not 6, but I don't care. And then we have Saw 6, which is VI, not IV, but it's fine. Put some lines because we've been doing that for the other ones, so why not? And then it's Saw 3D, which is great, but whatevs. Like, you were doing so well. Why did you have to ruin it? And then it's Jigsaw. which I also just wrote as almost jigsaw, but it's fine. Jigsaw. And then it's spiral. And then it's saw X. Wow, I didn't realize they had as many as they did. I thought they only had like 7. Like, I remembered maybe up to Saw 3D, but I couldn't remember which one was called Saw 3D. Wow. Let's see. We've got those ones though, and then we've got the Shrek movies. Now I know we have Shrek and Shrek 2 and Shrek 3. Is it called Shrek 3? I've only seen 1 and 2. I'm pretty sure, but a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun. I would like to see the new Little Mermaid. I recently watched the new Aladdin and I did not like it. Like, you know how the old Aladdin, for anybody who's seen it, you had the genie and it was Robin Williams and he was like kind of cocky but also like quite endearing. I found that in the new Aladdin with Will Smith, the cockiness was still there, but it was just much less endearing. And I don't know if it's just because I was more forgiving when I was a child and now it's like a nostalgia bomb. And maybe he played the character exactly the same. I'm not sure. But I just didn't find him to be as likable, I suppose, in terms of the character. So that was a bit sad. But, is what it is. Is what it is. You like the new Little Mermaid, but not better than the animated version. I think that in terms of all of the live action ones, I don't think I have liked them as much as the animated, but that's also in part probably because of the whole nostalgia thing of it. The last Shrek movie ruins the trilogy. Ruins the series. That's sad to hear. Aladdin. Yeah, I just found it kind of disappointing. Like, I appreciated some changes that they made. Like, I like that they made Jasmine the type of character who could actually kind of lead her city, kind of a thing. Is that idea? Like, that was kind of nice. Oh my gosh, I like so want to see the Barbie movie. There we go. The Barbie movie. Yeah, but Robin Williams was just like, he was so much of a highlight of Aladdin, so without him there, it did feel a little bit sad. But yeah, the Halloween movie marathon, I'd be totally keen. I don't know how many there are, and if I'm going to write them down, I'd like to have enough space to write all of them, so I might write them here. I'm not too sure how many there are. Can this layout be done with a spiral notebook? Yeah, for sure. I will say that if you're doing the ruled line here, you just need to be mindful of the fact that there's a spiral, so you might have to flip your notebook around and rule from the other side, but like totally fine to do it in a spiral notebook. Let's see. Also, tink. So, what were we talking about? Shrek. Shrek is great. Shrek. And then Shrek 2. And then, is it just called Shrek 3? I don't know. Let's go look at the Shrek movies. Because I would like to get the names right where I can. Obviously, with the two older boys, I was like, I'm not going to write all that out. So we have Shrek, Shrek 2, Shrek the Third. I thought it was that. Shrek the Third. And then there's Shrek the Halls, but I don't know if I necessarily want to watch that one. And then there's Shrek Forever After. And then there's a Shrek 5? There's a Shrek 5? There's a Shrek 5. I don't think I like it. I don't know if I want to watch that. I'm worried. Heading out to Kiki's Delivery Service. Have fun. Thank you for being here while you could be. Shrek Goes Forth. That's what it was. Wait, Shrek Goes Forth or Shrek the Fourth? Shrek Forever After. Because when I'm doing the fourth, it's from like the Princess Diaries. It's like Mia goes forth. Yeah. Shrek Forever After. Okay. I know there are other movies that I want to watch, and I just haven't transferred them over from my regular journal. And this is kind of what I wanted to do today because I'm in this bad habit. If I write things down on my, oh, I want to see this kind of list, and then I just don't ever transfer them over into my long-term collections journal, and that's like literally its point. It is supposed to hold all of these movies that I supposedly want to see, so that then I don't forget about them. So let's have a look. Are any of these movies? Yes, we have plenty of movies, but a lot of them we've already seen. Way of Water, 13 Ghosts, Hereditary, Ever After, The Goodness, The Martian, Burn After Reading, The Menu, Boston Strangler, The Suicide Squad. I think I had The Suicide Squad on here and I already wrote that down. I also had Wakanda Forever. I didn't have 13 Ghosts, so we'll put that down, then we can cross it off. 13 Ghosts. I remembered seeing the like DVD or video cover or whatever for 13 Ghosts like pretty much every time that I went to the video store with my dad. And I was just like really scared of it because it had like all of the little pictures of the different ghosts, and it was kind of like one of those collage kind of images made up of other little photos that had been like tinted to show the face behind it, and it always kind of like scared me because it looked really, really creepy. And then I watched the movie and I'm like, this is a joke. like like it is not that scary, but it freaked me the heck out. We watched Hereditary. Hereditary. And we watched Avatar: The Way of Water. Avatar: Way of Water, which was way too long and not good enough for how long it was. I already kind of felt like it was going to be that when I went in, so maybe there's a little bit of confirmation bias there, but it was not my vibe. And just like, this is literally the same story, it's just you're in the ocean now. But then again, I do not think that I was the target audience, so it's fair. There we go. All of those have been watched. Done. Excellent. Nice for now. Yeah, the Boston Strangler was good. I mean, no, but the movie was good. like, Strangler. I quite enjoy those like either TV shows or movies where it's like the dramatization of something that actually happened. In the sense of like it gets me very curious about the thing, and then I go and like learn more about it. So it's like kind of a way to get me actually into history, because otherwise I don't really seek that information out myself. Like when we watched The Good Nurse, and getting into like that story and being like, oh, what actually is this about? Like, let's go learn a thing. And that's not to say like it's a very happy story at all, but did I already write The Martian on here? I don't think I did. No, it doesn't seem so. Okay, that's all good. Martian. Yeah, it just gets me curious about things. You fell asleep on the Boston Strangler. Oh. Just like, no, but the movie was good. Do you still play Wordle? No, I don't anymore, because I was playing through the archive. I really enjoyed the fact that I could play through the archive, so that I could kind of, it was like that sense of completion. So I set my log up so that I could go through all of them since like the start of Wordle and play each of those, but then they took down the place where you could play the back catalog. So I was like, well, don't care anymore. Let's see. We also have the menu that I've watched and burn after reading, so we'll add those two in. The menu and burn after reading was weird. I feel like it was supposed to be, but it was just, I think it was just not what I was expecting at all. Anyway, so you might like Cleopatra, The Mummy Returns are also classics. I know I've seen The Mummy. I think I've seen The Mummy Returns, but it was like such a long time ago, so I can't really remember. All I remember is I think that the lady got drunk and she's like, I'm a librarian, or something like that. I have vague recollections of that, but I don't know if that actually happened. There we go. Menu and burn after reading. And then it'll probably be one of those like future Jess problems of actually going back through all of my journals and making sure that I've moved all of my movies over. Because brains are made for having ideas, not for holding them. And that's why we give these things to our journals, so that they can hold on to them. But if we don't ever come back and look at them, then how useful actually was that information? So we are going to write in my future me problems list that I want to go back through my old journals and pull out all of my like movies to watch and stuff like that. There's something on my desk. Here we go, that's better. There we go. So, what did we say it was? Pull out TBR and TBW from old journals. That might be a project for next Bujo Wednesday. There we go. That looks pretty good. At least then I have that there as a kind of like mental note of you would like to do this at some stage, but it doesn't necessarily have to be right now. Because as you can see, this kind of part takes a while. And it's one of those things that like you get it in your head that a task is going to take you a while, so you put it off, and then in putting it off, it then ends up taking way more time. But it's that kind of cumulative causation thing. It's like, oh, this is going to take a while, so I'm going to neglect it because I don't want to do that right now. But then in neglecting it, now it's going to take longer. But now I see it as going to take a while. So anyways, so similar idea with books and with games. Which I have actually played Life is Strange True Colors, so I can color that one in at least. But I'm not very good at remembering to actually write down the games that I want to check out and play. But moving on. So we have my wish list. We've still got stick storage, replacement tombos, cocktail glasses, pilling removers, Takanoko, Pandemic, Ticket to Ride. Well, spoilers. But I just bought Vogel Pandemic for his birthday. So we can cross that one off. Yeah. So, I don't think I have anything else that I really want to add to my wish list just now. Is there anything I really want? I'm very bad at thinking about things that I want. Like, in the moment, I can be like, oh, that looks cool, and I want it. And then instantly, gone from my mind. So this is why I have this, so I could keep it updated. But I haven't been, so that's a little annoying. The things I want to adultify is effectively a list of things in my house that like I've already got a version of it. I just want to get a like either better quality or a more adult version or something that's a little bit more of like I'm going to keep this long term. Whereas my wish list is for other stuff. Like technically my desk chairs could go over here, but that's one that's it felt more like a personal item than like a kind of overall household item, so I don't have it over there. But yes, spare bed mattress sounds good. So, things to do in 5, 10, 15, and 30 minutes. I need to consider this a little bit more in terms of like my work tasks in particular, and setting realistic time expectations for them, because I find that any task that, in theory, like if I have a task that could take 10 minutes, I either work it up in my mind that it's going to be way, way longer, or I'll just get started on it, and because I haven't kind of reiterated to myself that it's only supposed to be a 10-minute task, I let it take 30 or more minutes, but it doesn't have to, if that kind of makes sense. So it's gonna be a little bit trickier in terms of actually getting things done in a timely fashion, because I'm just, doing whatever I want to do in any moment of time and not paying much attention to it. We had a question. How do you keep track of your journals, like which types and sizes you have? Currently building a Notion database. That's cool. I love that idea. I don't have like a specific kind of reference of what I have. It's more just like I have set places that they live, and I can usually see them well enough that it's not really too much of an issue. Like if we just do a little grab kind of thing here. Poink. Okay. I've literally just taken a picture of it so you can see it. I'm just gonna So like beside me on my desk, this is my journal rainbow. So this is all of my rainbow notebooks that are all A5. And because they're on display and I can always see them, I don't feel the need to have a kind of log or reference of them. I probably should have a log or reference of them, because if my house burns down, it would be nice to get them replaced by my insurance. Not that I want to send that kind of bad juju out into the world. But I also, in the storage of my notebooks, because obviously like the rainbow is over there and those are the rainbow notebooks, but I also have a large collection of just black notebooks or notebooks that are different sizes, but I just store them with like things. So I have a section on my shelf that is just for my black A5s, and I have a section on my shelf that is for every other notebook. I'll take you a picture. I'll show you the thing. Adventuring. But that's my black notebooks, and this is my not black notebooks. Boink. There we go. Taking you some cheeky pickies. So pointing that up there. You can see that there's a section on my shelf where I just keep my black and white ones, and then also this purple one. But those are all A5s. And then on this side, I have the ones that are either not A5s, or they are not A5 black and white ones, or they are like A5s but from a different brand. So you can see that we've got like the little B5 section here, and a little A6 section, and a little B6 section, and these ones over here are double up A5s. Those ones are A5s that are either from different brands, or they're like special in some way. Like they could technically go over with this guy, but they don't at the moment. But I have a fairly good memory when it comes to which notebooks I have, for the most part, so I don't feel the need to keep a reference. But I probably should keep a reference, so we'll put that in my long-term collections, and by that I mean my future me problems. Make inventory list of journals. In terms of the journals I actually use, those ones are just sat in a collection in my art cart, so they're kind of always together. It makes it a little bit easier to just have them all in the one place. Oh, yeah, that's fair. Tink. It's okay, Deb. Like, you're totally on top of it, because you tell people to go and tag their questions. So I just go back into the chat and find their question. Because I missed it. I totally missed it. Let's see. You can send me your database template if you want to. I would probably keep it with the template. We already have a home inventory list on, I think Excel is where Vogel's built it. So I'd probably just put it into there myself. But I always appreciate people sharing templates with me. I do love a good template. So cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the shower, 30-minute tasks makes sense. 15-minute task, wash the dishes, clean the microwave, meal plan, face mask, hair mask, shape nails, read. Sounds good. I mean, technically we could put reading on 30 minutes as well, because why not? Teehee. I don't know why I've split this into 2. Probably so that I knew that there was enough space for 2. Read. But I think that what I would like to do with this layout in particular is that I would like to go through my work tasks. And I've already kind of started this. This is like a project for my current month. It's one of my current goal projects, is to go through all of my work tasks and consider which ones can be done in advance, which ones have to be done on the day, which ones are batchable, like which ones are essential, which ones like could be automated in some way, like all of that kind of thing. And I would probably take what I learned from that and put it into here. I think that that would be a very good idea. So that would be something that I can think about putting into this things to do in certain amounts of time list. So this one is another reference page. Don't need to add anything to this, but this is things that you can include when setting up a new bullet journal. Just, you know, if I want to try something new, come to this list. How often should I? So this one is kind of like a combination of actual general advice regarding how often you should do things, and ones that are more about like, how often will I actually do it? So this is something that I can build into, you know, housework trackers and that kind of stuff. But that is just a reference. Similar idea with this. This is a reference that I do have a little bit more space for growth on, but it's effectively like a troubleshooting kind of self-check-in thing. So it's like, hey, you're not feeling the best. Like, what's actually wrong? And then what can we possibly do about it? So, for instance, if I'm, you know, stressed out about my physical space, like my house is a mess and I'm just like stressed out about that, then like these are some of the things that I could do to try and remedy that or like make it better. If I'm feeling unaccomplished, like what could I do that could help me, you know, feel a little bit better about that. So it's like, hey, yeah, just do something tiny to get the ball rolling. Like you could make something, you could take a class to learn something new, like all of those kind of things. So some of these have a little bit more space that I can write some other things in. I don't have any specific ideas right now, but can be helpful. Yeah. Might be worth putting some kind of marker on this page so I can turn to it when I need it. But this one was for a video, but I wanted the list for myself, so I put it in here. But it's effectively like 100 different things that you can do with a blank notebook. So it's like, hey, I have a notebook and I want to use it for something. What could I use it for? So I don't think anybody would necessarily need to have all of these notebooks going at once, but it could be a helpful reference. And then we have my list of things that you can put in like gaming related layouts. I would probably end up doing a page like this for reading journal layouts or layouts related to reading journals at some point, but I haven't done it so far. Okay, so habits. Up by time, bed by time. These are effectively like when I go to track my habits, it's a list of things that I typically track in my habit tracker, so that then I have that as a reference too. So, pill, multivitamin, face care, AM, PM, skincare, use journal, water intake, stretch, exercise, floss, leisure time, check-in, brain dump. Okay, so we also are going to do learning time, because that's one that I've been putting on more often recently. Learning time. Also, social time. Social connection. Because when you work for yourself at home, while that does come with a lot of perks, I will admit, I don't have a lot of time where I do get social connection. Like, you know, especially in-person social connection outside of pestering Buggle, which I'm sure he loves. Brain dump, 10 minutes tidy, learning time, social connection. I don't think there's anything else that I have been adding to my list recently, so that looks pretty good so far. Then we have countries that I want to visit. Yay! So you can see I did visit the US of A. Huzzah! So that one got checked off the list. Thailand, Canada, Italy, South Korea, Fiji, China, Egypt, Switzerland. I think that... Is there anywhere else that is like top of list really want to go? As of current, not really. It's one of those things that like I would like to see as many places as I could. So I really want this to just be a list of the ones that I in particular would like to go see. Like Fiji is very much at the top of my list just because it's like a running joke in my family, and now I like really, really want to go. Similar idea with eateries. Like I would like to try as many eateries as I can, but I really only want to list out the ones that I genuinely would like to try new on here. And the problem is that I feel like anytime I go out to eat, I you want something good. You want something that's going to be enjoyable, and I always end up just falling in with the ones that I typically go to because at least I know that I can get something that I want there, if that makes sense. Let's see. Pages to make in my bullet journal. These ones are specifically pages to make that aren't for this journal. So while we had the list of long-term collections to make or collection ideas up the front here, these ones were all specifically for this notebook. This one is for stuff that is about like they're not necessarily references that I'm going to want to reference time and time and time again. They're stuff that would be kind of like a snapshot of me at the time or whatever. So like the A to Z of me or things I like or all of that kind of thing. Like those would go into my what's the name for you? My everyday journal rather than my yearly or long-term collections. KonMari checklist, that one is a reference, so that one stays here. Alrighty, drinks I want to try or make. I haven't had a pumpkin spice drink ever, so I would like to try a pumpkin spice drink. That would be something that I would like. Not necessarily right now, though, because it's not really the right time for it. And then we also have some alcoholic drinks that I would like to try here, too. And then for my foods, it's sweet versus savory. So, like, one that I want is, like, peanut butter cookies. I haven't made a peanut butter cookie. I've never had a peanut butter cookie, so I would like to try a peanut butter cookie. Same idea with s'more dip. Like, I haven't technically had is it like a sh sound? So it's like schmores? Or is it s'mores? I don't know. S'mores. Like, I haven't tried s'mores or schmores, and I would like to try s'more/s'more dip. I don't think we get graham crackers here, though, so I need to find a version of that or something similar here. Alrighty. And then we've got those ones, which are things that I would like to make or try. That looks fine. Yeah, see, because I've heard good things about peanut butter cookies, and that's why I want to try it. So this list here did not necessarily need to be an entire page, but I gave it an entire page because it felt silly just to give it part of a page. But as you can see, this is a list of programs to reinstall when my computer dies. Thankfully, I have a better computer now, so now it's not as bad. Yeah, it's without the sh sound for s'more. So s'more. God, that's weird. Okay, that's cool. Chocolate digestives. Interesting. So this is a list of things that I should install again when my computer goes kaput. Like if I ever need to reinstall it, or if I get a new computer and I need to install stuff, this is the stuff that gets installed. I, since having written this list, have moved away from Adobe Reader and have moved away from Netflix. But the rest of them I would still install. I don't think there's anything else that I would need to install myself. Like all of the rest of the things that I use, I'm pretty sure are just on the computer anyway. Maybe the Epic Games launcher, possibly. Yeah, we'll put that down. Epic Games launcher, and I think there's also one for EA. Because I've been playing The Sims, and it's enjoyable. I mean, peanut butter is a thing. It's just that peanut butter flavored things aren't so much a thing. I guess, like, they exist, but they're not really big over here, I guess. Like, you can get peanut butter, but you don't typically get a lot of peanut butter flavored stuff. Or if you do, it's less popular, so there's not as many of it, that kind of thing. What did we say? It was EA Games. I'm not sure what they call it, though, so I'm going to have to go find what their actual name for it is. It's just EA. Yeah, it's just EA Games. That's it. I love The Sims. The Sims is great. I had only ever played The Sims 1, and then they had a free deal, I think, on The Sims 4, so that, like, you could just download it and a bunch of packs and just play for free. And I guess the idea is that the idea would be that then you'd buy more packs because you'd get into it and you'd want more stuff. I am taking the very bare minimum approach, so not doing that, but it has been a lot of fun playing that. The Sims is great. But I just don't need this much space for it, for this programs list, but it's fine. It's here, as life goes on, I have room to grow, is the idea. There might be other programs that I become very heavily reliant on, so having the space is a good thing. So when it comes to my level 10 life, I really want to kind of establish a ranking system or like ranking descriptions for each of these different categories so that then I can more like effectively like rank each of the life areas with more certainty. So it's not just like a gut feeling. It's like, oh yeah, work and career, let's give it a 6 kind of a thing, but that's very kind of reliant on how I'm feeling on any given day. I would like to have a set system that I use for actually assigning those rankings, whether it be like a series of 5 to 10 questions that I can ask myself on a like yes, no, or like 4-point scale or something. Because a 10-point scale is difficult to rank on. Like, I don't ever think that anything is actually a 1 or a 10. Like, 10 is pretty much never. Most of the time, I don't give a 1 to anything because I'm like, usually there's something that's redeemable. But that means that most things just fall very middle of the pitch, and that doesn't necessarily give me the best insight or information. So I would like to establish some kind of like clarifying questions or something like that. But that is a future me problem, much like populating this master grocery list, which I need to ask Vogel to help me with. So we don't have anything to add here, but you can see I've got like 3 columns, and I'm going to go through and try and make it so that everything fits kind of nicely. Possibly a little bit of room for growth on it, just so that then I, funnily enough, have room for growth, but I digress. And then we're on to our next blank page. Now, I don't have any collections in particular that I'd like to set up today, but at the back of my notebook, we do have, see, instantly flip to the acrylographs again. We have my swatches. So I don't have to update any of these ones, like this page is full. I don't need to update this guy. I don't need to update this one. I need to find a use for this page, and I was probably going to do maybe like the string and space highlighters, and then I could possibly do the ink joys as well, because I haven't swatched those anywhere in particular. Ink joys. Because the Faber Castell Pit Artist pens that I have quite a few of them, so I want to put those closer to the end here. You can see I've already labeled this one here, so that's going to be the Faber Castell Pit Artist pen section. It's going to go over both spreads, and then this one is going to be hardliners. Yeah, Echo, I will be categorizing them. I've already started writing the list. It's just I actually need to talk to Vogel about anything that he might want to include, because obviously he is part of my household, and it would be wise to have things that he would like on the master grocery list too. That's why I've got it in those 3 columns, so that I have all of the spaces done for the sections. It's just actually populating it that I need to get to. Let's see. Ooh, a question. So, what's your opinion on the summer collection from Archer and Olive? Not for me, really, if I'm honest. Like, I got the pens because I'm a sucker for pens and I'm a little bit of a completionist. I didn't get the acrylographs. I feel like I deserve a round of applause. I will give myself one because, like I said, I'm a bit of a completionist when it comes to pens, and I've finally gotten to the point where I've decided that I don't use paint pens, so I should probably stop buying them. But the calligraphs I still really enjoy using, so I decided to get both of those packs. But I didn't get any notebooks. I didn't get any of the accessory kind of things, because I don't know if you saw my picture from before, I do have quite a few notebooks. I probably don't need any more. So I'm really trying to only get new notebooks if they very much speak to me, like they really kind of are my color or are my design, that kind of thing. And this one wasn't so much, because I prefer jewel tones, I prefer brights. I'm not really a fan of pastels or muted colors, and that was kind of the color palette they were working with for their retro summer road trip kind of theme. So wasn't really my kind of vibe, but I do recognize that there are plenty of people out there who do like those kind of colors. So I was not the target audience this time. So this guy here is going to be my... I know I just literally got distracted, but I looked at my drink and realized I was thirsty. So ha ha ha. Tink. There we go. So this one is going to be for the... What did we say it was? The Papermate... Actually, I could do both of my Papermates on here. I could do my Papermate Inkjoys and my Papermate Flares. Ooh, yeah. Check it out. So, which means we'll need a Tombow. Because that's how we roll in the Shire. Clunk, clunk. Squeeze me. So, for each of these pages, I usually title it with the black Tombow brush pen. You can see that this one here, for mild liners, and for the Faber Castell Fit Artist pens, I used a different pen, which I thought was going to be okay, but it actually turns out it was a fair bit thicker, so I was kind of annoyed. So, to avoid my annoyance, we are going to do... P is for Papermate. Pay. Let my pen play you these great sounds. E. Paper, and mate is actually 2 words, aren't they? Yeah, paper, heart, heart, mate. A. T. There we go, Papermate. And then we're going to do the Inkjoys first. Yeah? Why not? You need a page for things, Jess says. Yeah, that's how we roll in the Shire. Papermate Inkjoy. Is Inkjoy 1 word? No, Inkjoy is 2 words. Inkjoy. Gel pens. There you go. Papermate Inkjoy gel pens. How much space will I need for these dear children? How many do I have? Is kind of the question, I suppose. We have a brown and an orange and a red and a pink and a yellow and another type of pink. Different type of pink. Clunk, 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 clunk. That looks like all the ones from there. And then in our second drawer of mysteries, which is not a lot of mystery because we know what pens they are, but it's fine. We have a darker green, a tealy color, a pale blue, a darker blue, a pale green, and a purple, and a dusty navy kind of color. And I know that these had pen names, but I can't remember what the names were. I think that's all of them. We'll put you back. And then we'll do a count, and then we can decide how to proceed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Black. Done. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I with my lettering in this style, I like to do a combination of uppercase and lowercase. Like for the Crayola ones, I did 2 lowercase A's, but for this one, I decided to do 1 lowercase, 1 uppercase. For calligraphs, I did 2 lowercase as well, it seems. Let's see. Karen markers, I did lowercase. Faber Castell, I did lowercase. Interesting. Acrylographs, I did an upper and a lower, but that's because I always start with an uppercase. And then Tombows don't have any A's in them, so bleh. The one that really irks me, though, because the one that trips me up is green. I really wish that I had have done either the lowercase e first or 2 of the same e, possibly. Like maybe an uppercase R, 2 lowercase e's, and like an uppercase n or something. I'm not too sure. But hey, it's all good. Let's see. So I know that down the side of this, it's going to have a stripe like this, and then we're going to have the colors. Do I want all 7? 14 is only really dividable by 2, right? It doesn't have another nice divisor. So we will do 7. So 1, boy, come on, pen. 1, 1, 2, 3. You know that you can barely see it. Apologies. 4, 5, 6, 7. And we can roll down the side of that one to make our little stripes. So you can see that one of the pages that I had here, I did end up removing. And that was because I tried to be too creative with the swatch effectively, because I was trying to find a way to swatch 25 pens in a way that didn't like kind of suck. I think it was 25. Now, as I've said that, I feel like 25 is going to be like way easier. But I find that doing swatches like little boxes or bigger boxes, if I've got heaps of the pens, is just the way that I actually like to do them. And I tried to make it a little bit too creative, so it didn't match the rest of them, and it peeved me off. Good question. Which journal are you using for your main video now? I am currently using this Traveler's notebook, or Traveler's size notebook from Archer and Olive. So you can see that I'm doing my little donuts theme in here. It's the first time I'm using a Traveler's, so it's a little bit new to me, but it has been going fairly well so far. I think it's certainly, like, as a first takeaway, it is not my preferred size, but I have been enjoying the experiment of it. Now, I'd like to do 2 columns of things. How much space do I actually like to put between them? I like to put 6.5 centimeters. That makes a lot of sense because that's usually quite typical for what I like to do. So 6.5 means that you're going to be here, and then we can do some little coloring ins. Eek, eek. But yeah, so after a while, I left it here for a bit, the swatch that was here, and then I was like, you know what, no, I don't like this. I don't like that it doesn't match. So I just cut it out and stuck the extra little piece of paper down the side here. So you can see I didn't cut at the binding, otherwise this page straight up would have just fallen out. I just cut a little bit further out, like effectively along that dot grid kind of column, and then stuck down the little piece of extra paper just using some double-sided tape so that then this guy wouldn't fall out. There we go. Thank you for flagging questions, Deb. Always appreciated, because yeah, Jess isn't good at paying attention to things. It's one of those things that, like, when I am working in my notebook, obviously my head is down, but my screen is up, and that is why I miss a lot of stuff, and I apologize for that. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. Alrighty, another question. Between Travelers and B5, which would be your preference? I don't know yet. Well, because I used the B5 for several months, I had a little bit more time to get used to it. So I think I need to give it a little bit more time before I say with any kind of certainty. But as a... Wow, rude. Calm down. As an initial thought, I think that for decorative type planning, I probably like the Travelers more. But if it was more aligned with like my regular style of planning, I think I'd probably like the B5 more. Just because, and I'm thinking solely about the monthly log here, I like a monthly log that is going to be in a calendar view, and I haven't found a calendar view that I can do in the Travelers yet that actually works well enough to hold all of my stuff effectively, in a way. I don't know what to do with you two, so I'm just going to shove you there. You can see I'm kind of doing my little rainbow thing, because you know that Jess loves a rainbow. So we'll put the black in first. I'm not sure if these have color names. They might do. Then certainly not on the barrel of the pen. Let's see. Paper Mate Enjoy. PMI red, PMI orange, PMI yellow. You can see I'm just like going through and looking at my previous swatches, because if they had particular colors, I would have used them here in theory. PMI teal, PMI dark green, PMI green, PMI navy. Yeah, no, I wrote these names myself, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, PMI purple. So, it's all good. I can hear Vogel's phone going off, but I don't think he's in his office to pick it up. So we'll color these in first, and then we'll go write their color names. So brown, blue, and purple. Oh, nope, that one's new. We can't use that one. We need to find a purple that isn't new, because I have several purples. I actually have a spare purple as well, because I've got like 4 of the purple one. Okay. Vogel!
Hello?
Your phone went off.
My phone went off.
It was like do 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 do
Oh,
do
bollocks.
do 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 do. Oh, he doesn't seem too happy about the fact that his phone went off. Oh no! There you go. It's Vogel's birthday later this week. We're gonna go out for seafood because he likes seafood. And we're going to go to see Spider-Verse 2. And I think we're going to go to go-karting. And then next month, when people are more free, we're going to go to an escape room with our friends and have a board game night. It will be good. I hope he is looking forward to it. Here we go. I need to use these ink joys more. I love the ink joys. I mean, the black ink joy is my go-to writing pen, so I use that pretty frequently. Like, okay, I want to show you something so satisfying. Look at this. Look at this stash. Because people are so nice to me, and when I said that I couldn't find my Papermate ink joys and I was having a troubles with it, and then I went to the US for Go Wild, and people bought me ink joys, and I was like, oh my god, you saved my life. Appreciate so much. But I don't use the color ones quite as much, but I do have a lot of the purple one because purple's my favorite color. If anybody was wondering. There we go. I also really like the navy as well, whichever it is, which I feel like yeah, that's the navy, because that's the dark blue, but it looks more indigo-ish. Indigo-ish. I have been looking quite a bit at color names recently, because I have been trying to figure out my brand colors, and big props to the people who put up with me being like, but what about this color? But what about this color? But what about this color for all of yesterday? Don't think that you weren't appreciated, even though I know I am very difficult to deal with. I'm a hard-to-love person sometimes, and I probably frustrated the ever-loving heck out of you. What size black ink joy do you use? This is the only size that I've actually been able to find. It's the Inkjoy Gel 0.7. I think that's showing up. There we go. My baby. My child. So it is like I like a thicker pen to write with. I find that my handwriting looks a little bit janky if I use something that's too thin. I also don't write so small that it's like I need a thinner pen. But yes, it's beautiful and I love it. Oh, remember to hydrate. Okay, tink. Also, good reminder, yes, turning on all messages is excellent. Always appreciate reminders. So we got our little orange. Yeah, this is very much one of those like use it or lose it situations. I can tell that my pens are a little angry at me because it's like, nope, you don't use us. We're not going to work as well as we could. Like the black one, because I use that pretty much daily. It's like constantly getting the ink flowing through it and stuff. But these ones are just like, wow. Do you not love us anymore? This red one's fine though. He's living his best life. He's like, I don't care if you don't use me. I'm gonna do what I want. I'll do what I want. Hey there, Pink. You're looking pretty cute. And then we've got the pink purple. Like, look at the difference. Like, these are so bright compared to these ones, which is quite funny to me. But oh, this one's like, no, I have been neglected. I refuse to work. There we go. Get your ink flowing. You're gonna be okay. I believe in you. Beautiful. Oh, so lovely. Okay. So these guys and the brown go back into the top drawer because we like to keep things orderly. And then all of my blues and greens and that purple I already put back. They go into the bottom drawer, which is much more full and thus harder to close, but it's okay. We will figure something out by jimmying the drawer around aggressively until it sits in the way that it needs to close. Shrug. There we go. Oh, it didn't like that. I'm sorry, tiny drawer. I'm sorry, tiny drawer. Yeah, this is a marathon, not a sprint. What happened to water before Coke Zero? I have been neglecting that because I have fallen into bad habits. Ding. Yeah, that is what happened to it. I have been, to be completely honest, I have not been taking very good care of myself recently. I'm actually like really quite a bit in like a bit of a slump. And it's one of those things, like, I know I'll come out of it and it'll be fine, but life is a bit struggle bus right now, and I'm not really too sure why. But I have been having a bit of a hard time. But again, I'll get over it. It'll be fine. Like, that's kind of where it is. It's like, you know, we've been trying to be pretty good about getting our meal planning done and stuff so that we can not have takeout. Yet for, oh god, there was color on that finger. That was a bad idea. But it's one of those like instances where I don't have the capacity to take care of myself the way that I feel like I would like to right now. So I have been what's a way to word this that doesn't suck? No. Here, I can show you something instead. It'll make it easier, right? So one of the things that I was doing on my meal log is that I have been recording what we plan to have for dinner, but then also what we have for dinner. So you can see that, like, this is like the plan of what we were going to have, and this is what we end up actually having. And both of those have just been completely like not feeling it, I guess. So we've been like, oh yeah, okay, here we've got a plan. No, we got takeout. Here's the plan. Okay, no, we got takeout. Alrighty, maybe we'll have this. Okay, no, we'll have the meal that we were supposed to have yesterday. Okay, but then we'll have this. Like, the plan was done earlier, so it's like, no, we'll have the meal we were supposed to have yesterday. And then we got takeout. And then we had 2 meals that were homemade and were planned. One of those was Boudreaux Wednesday, though, so it was like at my mate's house, so they made it, so it doesn't really count. So if we're talking about like home-cooked meals that we actually made for ourselves this month, we have had 3. And it's currently, like, we've had 11 meals. So, like, we're not doing super great. This is just like one of those periods where you get a little bit overwhelmed, I suppose, but I know I'm distracted. Yeah, it's an interesting time right now because I'm both very motivated to get things done and I want to make a lot of progress on stuff, and I am making a lot of progress on stuff, but because I'm focusing so much time and energy and attention in that, then other areas of life just kind of go flat. So taking care of myself in terms of like my water intake or eating meals that are like nutritious and stuff like that, that has taken a complete backseat because I want to focus that time and energy onto other stuff, I guess. So maybe it's not even so much of a slump. It's more of like I have, even if not necessarily consciously, made a decision to put that focus somewhere else. Yeah. That was a very long answer to why am I not drinking water, but I mean, I treat it like, here, if it makes us feel better, tink. And the body's like, yes, she did it. She drank the elixir of life. And I'm just like, bleh, didn't taste like Coke Zero, tink. Alrighty, good question. How many months do you get out of a Boudreaux? didn't plan to go into a second, and I think I may unmotivated going into a second one. I personally find that going into a new journal, pretty much regardless of when it happens, is a very good motivation booster, because it feels like a fresh start. I find fresh starts to be really motivating. Typically in a journal, I will previously would have gotten 6 months. So I would use 2 journals a year. So I'd have like one for the first half of the year, one for the second half. And it felt like a very nice and natural kind of point to change into a new journal. Nowadays, because I've given myself a little bit more freedom to use up as many pages as I want, I've been finding that a typical A5, like with 160 pages, will get me 4 months. But that's because I haven't been, again, distraction counter a zillion. But we love a good distraction, so we're going to look at it anyways. So it's just given me a bit more freedom. Like, I've given myself the freedom to use up as many pages as I want to. So start of journal setup is whatever. But when it comes to my monthly pages, we usually have a projects list or something. We usually have a cover page. We have 2 pages for the monthly log of some description. Then we have trackers, and the amount of those will vary from month to month, but typically we're sitting around like 2 or 3 spreads of trackers. And then after that, it's just daily logging. And daily logging takes up a very large chunk because I want to really be able to rely on my journal to be a place that I can write down anything, which means that I don't want to restrict myself in terms of how much space I give myself to write that down. Hopefully that makes sense. Which is also in part why when I got to the end of this journal and we had May in here, because I did do 5 months in here, I felt restricted and didn't use my journal as much, which was kind of a bummer. So I possibly, not to say that I didn't want to do May in here, it's just that I let the lack of remaining space hold me back from using it. I know that's a little bit off track from what your actual question was, but for me, personally, typically, I will get anywhere between 4 to 5 months in a typical A5 notebook. But I also see starting a new notebook as something to be excited about and something to kind of, give yourself that like fresh start feeling. It's like, it's a time to reevaluate and say like, is my journal taking me where I want it to take me? Like, are the things I'm putting in here actually aligned with what I want my notebook to do for me? And I think that's exciting. Not to say that I want to go and start a new notebook every month or anything so that I can get the fresh start feeling, but because I like the idea of it being able to capture a portion of time, which is why I'm kind of excited about the Travelers being for 3 months. And I think that going into it knowing that it's only 3 months is also a powerful thing, because when I started my B6 last year, at the end of last year, I wanted it to be for 4 months, but I did not have anywhere near enough space for 4 months. So going into the Travelers knowing that it is smaller and that it'll probably only get 3 months, I think is a more powerful place for me to be in. Yeah, shrug. Anyways, red. We're going with all of the super descriptive color names like orange and yellow. We'll just go light green. Dark green. Pink. Like a mauve color, mauve, whatever. It doesn't really matter in terms of the color names. Like, I could just call it, your name is Petunia now. But I do like them to be fairly accurate. I'm just not very good with color names when it comes outside of the regular, like, Roy G. Biv. Light blue. Like, you are indigo now. Indigo, purple, brown, love it, and navy. Navy, not nay, whatever you were trying to write. Okay, is this in my list? Tricloss fine liners, ink joys. Yay, we did a pen swatch. We've done an actual thing. Do you know how satisfying it is to actually get some of your future me problems checked off? Because it doesn't happen very often. Let's go write that down in my log of stuff that I want to accomplish, which is my someday maybe tasks, and that is Inkjoy Swatch. Yay! Tiny party! The crowd goes wild! Pew 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 pew! Okay, put this away. Back to the grind. Get back onto it. Do I still like Alistair method layouts? Yes, I do still very much like them. It's just that I've been taking, in terms of like my weekly logs, whereas where I would typically use them, I have been doing more daily logs, so I haven't had to put those in as much recently, but I do still enjoy them. Alrighty, we're gonna do another one. Pew, pew, pew. This one got a little bit away from me, but it's all right. So P A P E R paper mate. There you go. Papermate flare pens. Yeah. Love it. So happy. Happy, happy, happy. Thank you for your party faces. I appreciate your enthusiasm and support. So we have the header in. Love that for us. Looking cute. Now I need to consider how much space I actually need for all of these. Eek. And to do that, I'm actually just going to get all of the pens out, I think. I was going to go through my swatches, but I don't think that's necessarily the best course of action. So move all of the things out of the way so that we can get to the pen drawers because they are behind my speakers. 1 and 2. Now, some of these colors are double ups. We discussed that in our last swatching video. Apologies for noise. Oh no, I was trying to be so careful and it didn't work out. When you try your best, but you don't succeed. Red, orange, ugh, mess, browns, purpley pinks. They are different colors, question mark. They look kind of different. I might have to swatch them. Red, we've already got. This way. Those are 2 more oranges, but they may all be the same orange. They are all the same orange. And there we go. We need the brown. We've got another pink color. Those 2 look the same though, so we'll get rid of one of those. We have aggressive pink. We have less aggressive pinks. No, one of those is still as aggressive. We have a purpley kind of pinky color. That one does belong here. Red again. 3 golden yellows. We only need 1 of. 1 not so golden yellow and a peachy kind of color which looks kind of similar to that. You know what we could use? A separate piece of paper. That would possibly help us out. So there are certain ones here that we know as individuals are individuals. That is fine. We can get those out of the way. But just to check to make sure that these are actually different colors, we're going to do a little bit of a little swatchy swatch. To make sure. Yes, they are distinctly different. All good. Aggressive pink is now you're going to say hot pink from now on. I quite like describing certain colors as aggressive. The one that we were particularly talking about yesterday was aggressive lime, which is what we were calling like any kind of very punchy, very bright yellow-green color. I don't know why I colored this one out because it's very obvious that it's a different color, along with aggressive pink. But these 3, just to make sure that they're actually different, we're going to do a little swatchums. Yep, those 2 are distinctly different to each other, and you are distinctly different as well. Beautiful. Now, these ones do actually have pen names. Is there any other kind of limes? Yes, you could have leisurely lime. Leisure lime is also a possibility. But most of the time, aggressive lime is the one we're at. We're going to put that to the side. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And then we're going to get these guys out. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to try and do it in a way that doesn't ruin my life. Yeah, passive lime. Aggressive leisure lime is also an excellent color. The aggressive leisure lime. For anybody who isn't part of our Discord, first of all, what even are you doing? But also, you are your own person and you can make your own choices, but come join us because friends and stuff. But for anybody who isn't part of our Discord, we have a recently set up space in there, which is called like Bujo Mistakes, effectively. And it's a place to kind of commiserate and share errors that you've made in setting up your planner, which, you know, it happens to the best of us. We get it. So in that space, I shared that I keep on writing T as like I'd draw the line down, but then I'd flick it out to the side. So rather than just doing like T, I kept on going like that, and I'm being like, ugh. So I'm like, okay, well now when I wrote time, but then I accidentally did that, it looked kind of like lime. And I was like, gosh damn it, lime. Because I'd just written leisure time, but it wrote leisure lime. That's the general gist of it. So leisure lime is now like a thing. But aggressive leisure lime is also a thing. Because why not? We can aggressively leisurate. So that stuff is good. These two purples look the same as that purple. So we will put that one away. This purple is punchy. We love a punchy purple. You are also a punchy purple. So we'll put you away. You are different to that one, so you can stay. That's all good. Turquoisal, tealisms, green, green, and green. We don't want those. We need no more of that guy. So I put you away as well. This purple we don't have in here. This blue we do. This blue we don't. And that green we don't. Cool. Love it. Let's put it in rainbow water. Yay! Fun. Good question. The Discord is open for everybody. If you are a member of the channel, first of all, love that. Thank you so much. Or if you are a member of the Patreon, also, thank you. Love that so much. Then you get a colored name in there. But everybody is able to join. It is completely open to the community. So, colors. We need to put these guys gently over here. We want to put them in kind of a rainbow order because Jess loves a rainbow. So red, orange, slammin, lello, golden lello, brown, question mark? Brown I usually put after the purple, just because it is the way that I do things. So those can go over here. Leisure lime. Green, 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 green. There are some like that don't necessarily fit the spectrum of color that we're trying to make here, but we try to put it in as best as we can. That one can go there. Purples, purple, purple, purple. Navy, purple, purple, purple. Pink, purple, purple, pink, pink, pink. Aggressive pink. That kind of looks about right? No, you belong here, I believe. And gray can go over here. So I know that like the brown end of the rainbow looks a little bit weird. Yeah, we probably could put the gold in here somewhere-ish. That probably looks a little bit strange, but it kind of is what it is. Like we could put it after that, like that, question mark. Maybe the brown to red wouldn't look so bad. Maybe that way around. Shrug. We're going to get out our little piece of paper though, again, to make sure that we are happy with this color order because happiness is important and stuff. The gray is just, it's gray. It's fine. Like, it is the absence of color. So it's okay to put there in my mind. But the rest of them, I just want to make sure that I'm pretty happy with the order. Like that brown technically could go between red and orange, I think. Because that orange is very very orange. Makes sense. But it's more of like a kind of transition, so possibly. I don't own the black one. Just because wait, yes you do. What are you talking about? I don't own the black of the Statler Tri Plus fine liners. That's why I'm confused. I do have the black one. The black one is in my black pen bucket though. So this is my pen bucket of black pens. So we can get that guy out and put that one here. Which in that case, then I feel like I want to put the browns together again rather than having them separated. This guy looks a little weird. What color are you? You're like a gold. A golden yellow. But then you're more of an orange yellow. So I feel like the orange should go next to you. But then that looks like a pale red. Why does everything try to ruin my day? So this orange needs to sit next to that one. But then that might be better suited next to the red. So it's also the problem of judging it based on the barrel color versus the pen color, which is a little bit different. And I don't think I want this dark yellow here because I would like it to go into the pale yellow next. And you are too golden, golden child. And then the red would go next to the kind of pinkish kind of color. And that looks a little bit more reasonable? Question mark? This red is not the right kind of red. Aggressive orange, exactly. There is an aggressive orange here. Because that was the way that I liked it. I'm like, again, does it really matter? Probably not. But I'm a bit persnickety, let's be honest. So that one doesn't look too bad. That one makes sense. We're getting into lime time though, so we need to get out of lime time. Oh no, it's lime time. Because that's a blue-green, so that one makes sense there. And then it's a question of you guys, because you're very blue and you're more blue-green. So you need to go here, and that means you need to go there. And you need to come next, maybe, mayhaps. And then you're just like completely out of the saturation range that we're looking for here. But it's fine. That's okay. And then we can do the darker blue. And then we've got this like dark purplish color. Ooh, beautiful. And then we have the punchy purple. Senor Punchy. Oop. And then we've got, yep, a subdued purple, which is slightly less punchy. And then we have a pale purple. Well, in theory, a pale purple. One that doesn't really look all that pale. You look like a lie, my friend. But I think that all of them looked like that, so yeah. You're all lies. You're all lies. That third blue you usually swatch on the purple side. This guy? Question mark? That guy? That guy. And that's the pink transition, so that's fine. So because if I was to do that, then my dark purple would have to get put at the end. But then I guess my browns could go over there and that would make sense. But then I need to, no, because then my pink would have to go with reds. Which means that the pink would have to go over there. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Okay. Okay. So if that's the case, then you come out of here. Wait, no, because then we've got a really dark blue. And then that doesn't make sense. Unless you sit on the other side of... Grr. And I need to think. Okay. Okay, that's my block. So we could have it so that then that one is there, and then that one is there. This is going to be quite a jump though. Or we could have it so that this one is here. This one is here. And that one is there. But then the pink-purple transition doesn't make sense because you have this really nice pinky-purple color that unless I put it over with the pinks and the reds, doesn't make a lot of sense. They need to think about these things when they make pens. I think I like that more than I like that, but then this would need to blend into something that is purplish. I'm just going to put you guys here for a second because you have upset me. The pens, not you guys. And then the purple would go like to here. I need to just double over because it doesn't look right. And then that would go to the punchy purple. And then the punchy purple would go to the dark purple. And then the dark purple would go to the dark brown. And then the dark brown would go to the slightly less aggressive brown. And then the less aggressive brown would go to the golden brown. If that was the case. And that means that the pink, orange, red kind of combo stuff would go from like red would be to orange on that side. But then where would you sit, my child? You're very red pink. You would sit next to here. But then where would Slammin go? Slammin would be more pink, wouldn't it? And then this would be... Oof, that is aggressive. And then you and your lime color, not lime, other pink. I've confused myself now. I can't do it. Like, we're just gonna go with you here, you there, you there. The rest of these I think I was pretty happy with. This is a bit of a mess, but I did like how the brown came from the purple. I thought that made sense. This guy I'm a little concerned about. I think that that's wrong. I'm kind of tempted to cut this pink out of... Which pink was it? One of the pinks actually sat really nicely next to the red. So I think I might put him next to the red. It was not you. Not you, child. Possibly that. And then... But you're like a guava pink and you're like a slammin' pink. One of you is guava. One of you is papaya. Both of you are annoying. And then, yeah, you're like a very pinky red kind of color. And then you're more of like a fuchsia magenta. You are subdued more. Actually, you kind of sit nicely next to that one, don't you? You, and then you, and then you. Ting, ting, ting. It's kind of like a little spectrum that's not too sad. But then you kind of sit quite nicely next to that one, which looks a little bit strange. And then aggressive pink just has to slot in somewhere. Aggressive pink can go there. And then you are aggressive pink purple. I mean, I know I'm overthinking this. It is my toxic trait. But it just is the way that I am, I suppose. Because I could just start the rainbow in a different place. You know what? We're just going to put it on the paper and we're just going to get over it. Like, how many colors do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 24, 27, 28, 29. Really? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 29. What am I missing? I mean, plum. I know there's actually quite a set that I'm missing, aren't there? There's not just 1 or 2 that I'm missing, but that's very frustrating. I don't dislike your weird swatching order. I just feel like it would need more thought than I'm willing to put in right now because it's Monday morning for me. Tink. More thought on my part. Where is my keyboard? We need to go find some color names. Okay. So we have Papermate, Flare, and I know we found a pretty good reference for their color names the other day, but I can't remember where we found it. Color names. Jenny Crayon, wasn't that her name? The person who helped us out. And she had her own kind of order that she used. Maybe we just use her order and then I don't have to think about it. But also I don't agree with her order, so no, we're not doing that. Because she puts olive beside yellow rather than lime beside yellow, which actually kind of makes a little bit of sense. So I'm not necessarily opposed to that. Yeah, Jenny knows what's what. She's got it down pat and stuff. Alrighty, so just so you guys can see what I see. So this is Jenny's picture. We'll open the image in a new tab so that we can just see the picture. It might just be a little bit easier. Okay, so she's gone through and she's put hers in this order. And I'm not necessarily opposed to using her order. There is something... She puts the black next to the purple, and then she puts the pinks on the other side of the red. Which kind of makes sense. Alrighty. I think we're just, we spent all this time putting it in my order. No, we're going to use Jenny's order. She knows what's what. So she put all of the kind of pink-purple kind of ones together. So she starts with plum. Do I have a plum? Yeah, I guess you're plum. You're going to be plum? How many pens does she have? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So I'm missing some. And I'm actually tempted to put those spaces in my tracker just in case I actually want, like... want to get those last ones. So maybe we'll do her order and we'll call it a day. The issue is that her order of pens on the page, like on the rainbow that she's set out, is not the same as the ones that she's actually put in her list, is it? Like her slate, pumpkin, mocha, and black are a different order. So I just need to remember that while I put these out. Okay, so she has at the top her dark brown and her... So she has mocha and pumpkin, and then she has slate, and then she has black, and then she has passion fruit. I already don't like this. Like, because she goes lilac to blue. Nah, she's crazy. I can't do it. She's a crazy girl. I can't do it. Though I could possibly do it like... She cuts her purple so weird. You know what? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. We're just gonna go in with... How many did we say she had? 32? 32 are the ones that I need, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Okay, 32 is divisible by what? 8 and 4. You know, we're literally just going to look it up because my math brain is not good today. Factors of 32. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. There's a lot. Kirsty, you're a gem. Like, there's a slight chance I'm overthinking it. Yes. It's one of those things that I'm like, it wouldn't be so much of an issue if this wasn't supposed to be such a permanent page, you know? Like, I wouldn't worry so much about it. So we're just going to draw the boxes out, and we'll deal with what order I put it in a second, because that is just going to be more helpful for my brain. If we do 16, then that's 8 centimeters, which will take us to about here, which is kind of okay, I guess. Because 16 is in half, 4's half. Yeah, it's in half. So we'll do it in half. We'll do 16. That makes sense. So we'll get all of this hoo-ha out of the way, because we're obviously been hit with the struggle bus today. I say we, really it's me. You're probably fine. I'm just like, what? You don't know if you're overthinking enough. Yeah, I know, right? Maybe I need to do more overthinking. I would do 4 rows of 8, except I don't want to feel pressured in terms of space for the amount of width that I might need to write in the color names. So if we kind of have a look at like these ones, I've done 2 columns for. These ones I did 3, but some of these were quite a stretch to fit in. So I'm going to go with 2 columns of 16, because I think it'll give me that space that I might require. So the first one is 0. So then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I know that this isn't like necessarily the greatest use of the page, because we do have a bit of space at the bottom that we're like wasting, quote, quote. But I might just put it down here for like, you know, favorite pens or like something like that, because I'm not going to be able to fit another full swatch in there. Like my smallest swatch that I have is my Faber Castell Metallics, and that took up 1, 2, 3, 4.5 centimeters, and I only have like 1.5. So that would not be enough space for a swatch. Especially with just like keeping my headers the same and stuff. Like technically I could fit a tiny swatch in there, but I don't want to. I don't want to. We're very much coming up to that part of the year where Jess starts singing Christmas songs. Not so much because it's Christmas, but more so it's a nice familiar tune that she can easily adapt to other lyrics. Like before this stream, I was I don't even remember which Christmas song it was, but I was singing something along the lines of like needing to get my stream set up, but to one of the Christmas songs. I need to get my stream set up so we can do journaling, that kind of thing. But not quite that one, because I can't remember which one it actually was. But now I've got that one stuck in my head. Oh no! Maybe sketch out the names in pencil so you can see if they're too long. That's a good idea. I mean, it would have been if I had have read that before I already started ruling things up. But I will keep that in mind for next time. I like to do both the overthinking thing and also just flying by the seat of my pants. So being like, hey, yeah, we're just going to set this thing up and hope for the best. If it doesn't work out, YOLO, we'll cut the page out. But then also sit here for probably way too long being like, is this the perfect rainbow? Am I the drama? Yeah. Yeah, some people celebrate Christmas in July. I like the idea of it. I think it's a cute time. So we've got that. That looks cute. We need a border. Where is my pen? No, seriously, where did I put it? Okay, you're underneath my keyboard. Apologies. So we do a little border here. How do I usually... Oh, okay. Do I bring it to the middle or do I bring it to the top? I think I bring it to the top. Yep. Okay, so that looks good. We'll do the same on the other side. I like to make some little rounded corners on these because I just think it looks a little bit cute. And it also means that I don't need to be too careful with things. There we go. And that bottom one there did get away from me a little, but that is also why I'm using a nice light colored pen, because I don't need to worry too much about it really standing out as like, hey, you stuffed up. Like, nobody needs that. We don't need that kind of judgment. Oh no, my camera got too warm and turned itself off. Well, this is unfortunate. Let's see if we can turn it back on again. I also don't know if you can still hear me, so I apologize for that too. It's thinking about it. Oh, hi. There we go. It's obviously telling me, Jess, you need to wrap this up. You need to calm down. It's also because I have the heater on today because it is chilly. Nice. So we're gonna go with Jenny's order, because at least then we can blame her when I don't like it. If I don't like it, then at least I'm not actually blaming Jenny. She's done a very good job and she's really helping us out here. But it's just something that I can do so that I don't have to worry about it. The camera complaining on a kid car, like, are we there yet? Indeed. So okay, I liked that part of her order. I thought that was fine. I think that her red to papaya to orange, like, it makes sense. So we'll take the guava papaya out and put those in there. That's fine. We can do that too. Sorry, I know that's probably quite noisy. I will agree with her tangerine and marigold and all of that. So she has tangerine and marigold and salted caramel. So she's put salted caramel in there. So we will chuck that in here too. And then all of the greens and blues and purples we can just make our piece with. And then we'll just put the plum raspberry stuff there, and we'll put the blackened mochas, and that can all just sit on the end. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to put the pens to the paper. And it'll be okay. She told herself for the 17th time to try and make herself believe it. And there we go. Red, nice, easy. Love that for us. I just need to make sure that I keep them in roughly the same order as I color them in, so that then I know which one I need to swatch out. Okay. That one is a little bit more red, and that one is a little bit more orange. So yes, that is in the right order. Because at the end of the day, like, I want it to look nice, but more than anything, I want it to be useful. So actually having it in the book is better than umming and ahhing over which pen order we're putting it in. Yes, I let my perfectionism hold me back. I do that. I am that way inclined. There we go. Orange. That looks cute. And we'll just put this golden one in here. Even though it's not quite what we want in terms of color order. It's okay. I need to keep telling myself it's okay. Otherwise, I'll just be like, why? Why did we do this? It looks weird. There we go. Yellow. And then olive. That looks awful. I hate that. I think that entire yellow section would be better if it was just, like, reversed a little bit. But again, having the pens in is more important. I think that's also the thing with Jenny's swatch, is that because her colors aren't butted right up next to each other, they've got that little separation, it doesn't matter so much, or like it doesn't look as out of place compared to mine where the colors are right next to each other. you know, if you can relate to the struggle of wanting your layouts to look nice, you should like this video to show your support. And if you want to just send your sympathies to say, Jess, I'm sorry that you struggle with this overthinking of putting pens into a swatch that you're probably going to use about 4 times in the next 3 years, then you could give the video a like to show your sympathy. Those are the 2 options. If you don't relate and you don't want to show your sympathy, that is totally fine as well. There we go. At least when we get to the greens and blues, I'm pretty happy with the order that we decided on. It's just that start of whatever stuff that I'm just like, no, you have wronged me. The betrayal. There we go. Well, that's all right. I think the part that trips me up, because if you haven't noticed, I'm a sucker for a rainbow. Like, I love putting things in rainbow order and they make my soul happy. But it's very tricky to put things in rainbow order when you're dealing with different levels of saturation, or you're dealing with different levels of like dark and light. Like, all of those things make it a little bit harder. And that's why I've kind of considered with my journal rainbow in particular is trying to to make 2 different or maybe even 3 different journal rainbows. So I'll have one that's just like the jewel tone colors, which were like a lot deeper and richer, and then one that's more of the pastel colors, and then one that's more of the like muted colors or something. I'm not sure, like all the brighter colors. I haven't really thought about it so much. But then I'm like, if I have 3 rainbows that are sitting on one desk, it's going to look a little bit interesting as well. It really doesn't like me. It's like, no, Jess, you've taken too long on this. You can't possibly think that it's okay that you're taking this long to swatch out these pens. But I will grab you guys in a second. Don't you worry. There we go. Da-dun. Da-dun. It's very upset. It's like, he's gonna be happy that we don't have too many left. But you know, the best part is I drew this out with extra spaces so that I could put in those pens that I don't have. But you know what I haven't actually done is left those spaces in this swatch. So all of the swatching that we're done is for naught because I didn't leave those extra spaces to put in those colors that I don't have. So now they're just going to be kicking along the bottom of this swatch to say, hey, these are the pens that you got later on in life or that you don't have, but they're not actually going to be part of the rainbow. So spending all of this time thinking about it and then putting out like all of the little spaces for them, completely wasted. As is the way of the world, it seems. But it's cool. It's fine. It only breaks my heart a lot. It's only my feelings you hurt, Swatchbook. Wow. So now I need to think of a solution for that. But you know what? That might just be a future me problem. Rude. Well, team, I think that's where we're going to leave it for today because my camera obviously doesn't want to play the game anymore. It's like, no, we're done. Which makes sense because we are at the 3-hour mark. Of course, make sure that you have hydrated. Tink, it was a pleasure having you here today. I'm going to go wallow in self-pity about this. And by that, I mean I'm going to go figure out a solution. And I'll let you know all about it over on Discord. For now, though, goodbye. Have a fabulous rest of your day. And I will see you next time.